Tropic playing out of his mind.
Welcome, everyone, for the long-awaited QnA Devstream. Are we hype? Is it recording? Moom, get the camera? Yeah, it's recording. I record everything, I record every stream, I record all of it. And now, we're ready. No more waiting. Lucky Accidental, thank you for the prime sub. Hypelights, thank you for the follow. Daft Live, thank you for the follow. You know what day it is today. It's the 10th of September. I personally reached out to Roark. Or actually, he reached out to me more. And we somehow awkwardly got in touch with each other and set up a stream. Q&A. ViiPY was like, can I join? Well, actually, I think we asked ViiPY. I can't really remember what happened. It's already like 5 days ago, and I have like I'd have a bad memory. But I actually think we asked ViiPY if he wanted to join, and like we're ready. We're ready now. Yeah, Starcoin, you're the followers. It's so great. So, but today, through the week, we have no audio.
Tropic playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I'm about to say unmuted because I think it's pretty much going right now. But yeah, through the week I have been gathering questions for ViiPY and Roark. Roark is, as you all know, one of the developers. He is like the main lead of all of it. I think he's the project lead, but we can get in on that later, so everyone can get it established. ViiPY, I will let them present themselves. Not gonna lie, but you know what's about to go down. Let's I will just shortly say before we check in with the boys that this stream will only be Q&A. Okay, we might get some gameplay in it if we get really bored, but it is mostly Q&A. Okay, which means there will be like close to nothing of like real gaming. It is literally like you guys asking the developers about stuff that we have on our hearts and our mind, and bring it into the light and hopefully getting a good answer. Nice. So, yeah, basically we will. I gathered. Yeah, what's up, Ash? But yeah, basically we gathered. Yeah, it's the follower sound. Let's start going. We gathered questions through the week. You can also, if you didn't post your question or I don't hear your question in the read up, you can also ask in the chat. So let's get to it. Let's get the boys ready. ViiPY, Roark.
Hello.
Hello. Roark.
Hello.
Yeah. We're live. We're live.
Heyo.
Hello.
I had to
How's
mute your
everyone
stream
doing?
because I was getting like playback and my mind exploded.
Yeah. I'm thinking about turning off the notification a lot as well because it's so noisy. So, first off, Roark, present yourself. Who are you? What kind of human
I'm
being
Roark.
are you?
I am a human male. No, I'm a game developer, obviously. And I spend a lot of time on this game, obviously. That's pretty much it. Or do you want to know like who my parents are and where I grew up?
No, I think it's fine. I'm just like actually I forgot to audio check you, so I'm just like fiddling with that as well. Okay, that's good. If you feel like that's enough, then we'll stay with it there.
He also has his name in the game.
Yeah. It's also your game, or is it your game actually?
It's our game.
It's our
Yeah.
game.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, ViiPY.
Hello.
Is it ViiPY or is
Um,
it ViiPY? Like we gotta get this. We gotta get this over with now. Like
Just say
okay,
VIP.
yeah.
Just say VIP,
Yeah,
because that's what I
just say
say.
VIP. Yeah. Most of the time, it's just like whatever people feel like. I don't really care that much about it.
Okay.
Okay. My name's ViiPY. Hello. I'm also a human male. The artist and 2D artist and some other assets to the game as well. Think I'm one of the newest devs in theory. I like the ones that still remain, but yeah, I think that's about it. If you want to
Man,
know where I grew up and all that stuff, that's fine by me. But I'm not sure if anyone will want to like a podcast of my entire life.
Nice.
It's funny when you're a newer dev, but you've been on the team for like 3 years.
I know, right? Technically, I am one of the newest, but like
I think
it's
the
been, like,
newest
4 years.
the newest I believe is Kadrid.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Nice. So, let's get into it. Actually, today I will bring forth a lot of questions for you guys.
Yep.
Hopefully. We're also gonna do this actually because I forgot it in the start.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotta plug the Kofi.
Gotta do
Yeah,
it,
gotta
yeah.
plug the Kofi because remember everyone.
Shameless plugging.
Remember everyone who is watching right now. These guys are literally making the game in their spare time. Like they're doing it for us. They're doing it for you, me, everyone who is spending several hours playing this game. Like the whole week, and they don't necessarily need it, but support is always nicely received. Like it's always well received from the developers. Just so you know it. I myself will also, if we get any subscribers, any donations, anything throughout this stream donated to me, I will give depending on I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say like at least half of it straight to Roark's Ko-Fi, or straight to the project. So now you know that.
Very nice
Hey.
donation plug.
Yeah, yeah.
So with the
I could learn something from that.
So with the formalities out of the way, let's dive into the first question actually. Okay, so I'm gonna start with ViiPY or ViiPY. I'm gonna
Okay.
say ViiPY.
Yeah, you can say VIP. Yeah, don't worry.
I'm
Call
gonna
it
say
whatever
VIP.
you
I'm
want,
gonna
don't
say
worry.
VIP. That's way
Please
Don't
say
worry.
VIP.
Yeah, exactly.
God damn it! Why did I have to make it such a complicated name?
Exactly.
God damn me!
Okay, so you told a little bit about yourself, but what is your place in all of this, like in this game, and what are you doing like for a like not necessarily for a living, but what are you doing with this game, and what have you done, and what are you currently working on, if you can say that?
I think it's all. It kind of comes all to the same thing. Mostly it's just like UI stuff, because technically, like, my position, I think it would be on like some other games, like for example an original game or something like that. I would have more stuff to do, for example like concept arting and some other stuff. But currently, since we don't really need it technically, I'm mostly just doing anything that is like 2D related. So like loading screens, UI assets, like the character portraits, weapon portraits, kill feed icons, and all that kind of stuff. There there isn't really that much like other than visual stuff for me to do.
So is it wrong to say that you also made the, like, I have a feel that you also made the intermission screens, did you?
The intermission? You mean like the loading screen,
the
right?
loading screen and the main menu screen and stuff like that. Have you made that as well? Because that looks 2D as well, right?
No. Some people don't know that, and like I remember when we first released, some people had some doubts and asked on game discussion. But the main menu was made by some other guy that came in, and he just helped us with that main menu that looked gorgeous, honestly. And his name is Sky. I'm not sure if he's still on the Discord. I don't think I don't remember if he is in the Discord anymore, but he's credited on the Discord like the slash credits chat. So no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I did the loading screen, but the main menu was made by that beautiful, gorgeous guy named Kai. Also, there was another thing he done as well. The logo. I think I did a logo on the past, but then he remodeled it and made it way better than before. So that's another thing he did as well. So like our main logo and all that stuff that you see, it's mostly from him as well.
So you made the concept out of the logo, and he literally came by and said like, "Nah, I'ma eat this shit."
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
All right, man.
If you
That's
want to say it that way.
yeah, that's it feels bad, man. But yeah, the logo looks great either way, man. I still don't.
Yeah,
But I still don't mind. I think even though I couldn't even see it like otherwise. I feel like it's been the same like all the time. But as you say, it might have or it has been changed. Or what? Or did we never see your version of it?
I don't think so. It was
No,
mostly
you could have seen it. You could
Oh
have
yeah,
seen
never
it.
mind. You could
I
have.
think
seen
you
it.
wouldn't
Yeah,
have Tropic because you didn't come in until the game was released, I think.
Exactly. I started the
So
day
the logo was
Yeah.
updated already.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was. I think there is the logo somewhere.
Yeah.
I think there
Basically, he
is, yeah.
cleaned it up. He just cleaned it up and simplified it a bit more, which is just obviously better for a logo, especially like
Mhm.
desktop icon stuff, right? It's the same like idea. So
Yeah.
I would give partial credit to Vip for concepting it.
Ah, I see. I'm just gonna fiddle with a couple of things here so people can actually see who's talking. But meanwhile, I'm gonna ask you, Roark. You talked a little about yourself, but what is your deal with the whole game? We all know your literal name is on the game, but what are you doing right now? What have you been doing? What is your like key component, and do you like do any other stuff other than your like usual wink wink coding and stuff like that?
Yes, I do quite a bit. You mentioned before that I'm the project lead. So there's a lot of stuff that isn't just technical, like that isn't just coding or whatever. There's a lot of organization stuff to do. I think mostly I would be a programmer, like all the game logic. There has been help with that from Liam, and he did a lot of the networking or the Epic services stuff. So there's been some help with that, but the whole project. It's been really hard to find programmers who stick around. Apart from that, I do the VFX, the wonderful cube effects.
Yeah.
I've done sounds and generally just the stuff that the other guys don't do. Like Moose makes the maps, and at this point Moose is like really good at it, and he doesn't need my help. The only time I help Moose is with general like broad ideas and like concepting out layouts. But Moose is the maps handled. Cube handles the animations and dealing with like the characters. I would put the characters in the game, but that kind of stuff Cube can handle. And Vip already said that he handles the like fancier UI art. Most other things I tend to deal with. And lately I've been doing a lot of tournament stuff. Pretty much mostly doing that. Like setting up the official tournament server. I've done improvements to the game for the casters. Like you'll see those improvements tomorrow if you watch the tournaments.
Ooh.
So there's been a lot of like competitive support work that I've been doing lately. Plus obviously like the stuff that's been sneak peeked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Don't worry, I will get the guys in the chat. I will get the the people up soon so we can see who's talking. But I'm fucking shit at this, and I've never done it. So we will move casually on to the next question. Roark, Ko-Fi, how do you like your coffee? Or are you even a coffee or more of a tea person, actually?
I am literally drinking a coffee right now.
Exactly, man. That's what I'm talking about.
So I'm
I don't
very much a coffee
think
person.
I don't think I have seen him without a cup of coffee ever since I got in like 4 years ago. I'm not even joking.
I drink too much coffee, and I know that, but it is what it is.
Okay, nice.
Was that
ViiPY,
actually someone asked?
Yeah, someone literally
If I
asked
drink
how you like your
coffee?
coffee. Like it's actually kind of I like we get so many like weird
I guess
questions.
to fully answer it, I drink my coffee black,
Oh, okay, nice,
and I do like coffee. Yes.
great. So ViiPY or Vip, what about you?
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
I don't usually drink neither, but I do prefer coffee.
I see.
But not too much black, because there's just a little bit of sugar, but not that much.
I'm personally
I'm weak.
I'm personally like more of a tea person, but I like coffee. Coffee can work for me definitely. Like I've had some experience with coffee. Okay. Now we get into some.
I just love. Sorry, I love what's happening on your.
Yeah, I see it as well.
your stream.
They all noticed.
Everyone's caught on.
They all
Shout out
figured
to
it out.
everyone that is. Shout out
This
to
looks
everyone
like
that
the
is on the
world's
lobby.
worst, like main menu
Yeah.
screen, the lowest effort main menu screen.
You know what's the what is like? This is literally the one like when you go to news channels and like someone notices there's someone is like
Yeah,
live,
yeah,
so they just go in and say, "Hey, mom."
You start jumping in the background.
It's actually so true. All right, let's move on to the next question. So we have a lot of different questions, and I'm
Tropic
trying to
playing
pick out from
out
the
of his
best of
mind.
them. So we have a question here. Are you ever going to add Jiggle physics?
It's a
I
really good question.
don't know what the donation goal is for that yet, so I can't answer. My guess is no. I wouldn't hold my breath for Jiggle physics.
Oh shit. Well,
Although I know why people say Jiggle physics, but honestly, I think the Jiggle physics would be cool on the gear. Just a bonus.
Yeah, we know why you
Just to
asked that
clean
in
up,
the first
just to
place.
clean up the idea. I'm sure that's what they mean when they ask for Jiggle physics.
it would be really.
They want to
cool.
see the gear moving.
Is this actually a doable stream? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so I'm just gonna see if this is like fine for you guys.
It would have been better. Yeah, never mind. It would have been better if we were in a private call because you could see the circles glow up, so it's
Yeah,
not just the entire
exactly.
square.
That was what I
Yeah,
was thinking
but
as well. Can I actually do the overlay? Like, could I put an overlay? You know, there's the Discord overlay.
oh, you
Are people
probably could.
having trouble telling who's who?
Yeah, apparently.
Don't we all have heavily different accents?
I feel
Yeah,
like,
I was
feel
gonna
like we
say
do
the
that as
same
well.
thing. We're literally each one in the like each one of it like over here is like on the different continent. Like
Yeah, we are on 3 continents.
Yeah, I don't understand it either, man. Anywho, let's move on. By the way, I'm trying to get around them as good as possible, and like Vip, some of these questions are very heavily like weighed towards like the programming part, but you can hit in with everything you want, okay? So okay, where are you guys looking to take the game now after it's been released and after the next quote unquote promised patch?
There is. It's tricky. I guess to start, we were really focused on getting released. Like that was a huge thing. It took a really long time. It took a lot of effort. So all we were focused on for a long time was just releasing, and that's what we told people. We didn't make any promises after release. We just were purely focused on releasing. Then we released, and we weren't sure if it was gonna work or not, like if people would play it. I knew people would play it, but whether or not they'd stick around was really unclear. But then people did kind of stick around, and there were like connection issues and things like that. So we thought, or at least I thought, okay, it's worth doing a patch to fix the connection stuff. When that was done, there was this surprisingly active competitive scene, and that was really cool. Like, that was awesome, and it was really motivating. And for me, and I know for Moose, it was really encouraging, and really that's why we wanted to even do this current patch that we're working on. So we're still trying to get there. Obviously, we have to release that still, and it is difficult. But anything after that, it's kind of operating on the same kind of feel, where it really depends on how motivated the team is to do more stuff. So that's why, like, we really just try not to promise too much.
Yeah, promises can be tough to live up to. I know that for a fact, and you should be very careful when you do like tend to give any kind of promises. So
Just to add a bit more to that, there are things that we have discussed that could be additions to the game. Like, there's no shortage of ideas for things that can be done. So there is like a path that it could take. It's just when it comes to like trying to promise things that far in advance, it gets really complicated. So
yeah. Vip, you want to say something?
I was just kind of compliment as well. Is that like the problem with making promises as well? We don't really try to make promises, is because you have to live up to those promises, and it's really like it's really sad to like just promise something to everyone and you hype everyone up. Everyone is excited to the release, and then you just can't live up to that, and then you just have like an entire community that was like really waiting for that content, but you can't deliver it. It's like a punch in the gut for everyone.
So it's also really stressful.
So that's the worst part. Yeah, that's the worst part. That's why whenever everybody asks about like release dates or anything about like something that we could promise, or like quote unquote promise, we don't give answers, like straight answers to that. It's mostly because of that.
I see. Alrighty. So, Vip, let's say everyone saw the like mostly everyone saw the new sneak peeks, and some people want to know how long time does it take to actually make these new icons, and also the old icons, you know, the sword attack, and like basically icons in general, all the stuff you're doing. How long does it take?
It doesn't take as long as people would think. It's mostly because like it mostly comes down to designing, because like making the asset itself is not hard. Like a lot of people can't do it. It's not really hard itself to just make the asset. The problem is making an asset that, like, for example, the kill feed icons, like the Inpay or like the blade parry or that kind of stuff. It's what's it called? The hardest part is not doing the asset itself, it's transmitting the message and it looks good, you know? It needs to be something that people like. I think like Roark was the one that like showed me how to do it and like tried to show me how to do it, like make it look like that. But like when you're doing those assets, you need to something that like someone literally looks at it for 2 seconds and they know what it is. So the hardest part is like trying to get those icons to look like that, but that's the most of the part. Doing the actual assets doesn't take that long. It just comes out to like, oh, do we like this? Okay. Oh, can we change this? So then it just goes like to a little bit more time to just refine it and make it look better.
Yeah.
Not the asset itself, more the design itself.
Yeah, like getting the message along. Because
yeah.
Because I've thought about that as well, and I gotta admit, like, I love the icons, not gonna lie. Like they get the point straight, but sometimes, like let's say Call of Duty for example, like it's pretty simple there. They literally take like a masked out version of the gun, they put it up, and they say like this guy gunned this guy, right? So it's pretty easy for them.
Uh-huh.
But I can see where you're coming from with this because you could just like do the simple way, take the swords, add them, and say like this guy sword this guy. But you actually added more stuff. You added blood. You added like flares to the guns. You added explosion to the thunder spear. It actually looks very cool and gets the message gets the message out. Like there's really been thought put into it, and I really like it. But
Thanks.
I do have one, like I do have a couple of the icons
Uh-oh.
that I find funny, and some other people also found funny. Bullet reflect. It looks to be a bullet reflect, but it's really a bullet parry, right? What went through your mind there when you made that?
The bullet reflects were, I think it was the one that mostly took a long time because it was really hard to like. How do you transmit a message of someone parrying a bullet? Like,
Yeah.
does it split the bullet? Does it go through the sword? And the biggest problem that like that I had before is that like how do you make the icons not look too similar, right?
Yeah.
Because like we mostly work with we don't really work with like colors. We like to use colors as well, but the most like in an artistic way, we always try to like work with shapes. So like for example, we have like colorblind people don't really have like we used to have like shields, for example, the team icons or like the ally and enemy icons. They used to be the exact shape, but they had different colors. But the problem with that is that like you couldn't really tell which one was your like opponent or which one was your ally. So it's really hard to like. So you have to think about like transmitting a message, a single message that like, okay, this guy is sparing the bullet, but you can't really make it too similar, for example, like to the parry blade. Otherwise, it just looks weird. It's just like which one am I looking at? Am I looking at to the blood, like to the blade parry, or am I looking at the or the blade parry? You know, it's really hard to like try to differentiate, but also make like the person be able to look at the image and know for a fact what it is. And I do agree, it's a little bit misleading a little bit that you look at it and it goes like the parry bullet is just like deflecting it. But yeah, it was mostly just because it's the same thing as like, for example, the loading screen, or like the loading screen having like the characters having like a cloak, for example, but we don't have cloaks.
Yeah, the cloaks.
It's the exact same thing. Like you're just transmitting a message of like players, or like just making it aesthetically pleasing, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the exact same scenario.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, because a lot of people saw the blade parry and they were like, bro, is it getting reflected? Because on the icon it looks like you're reflecting the bullet, but in reality you're just
Yeah.
like splintering it apart.
I totally understand that. And I
Yeah,
agree with it.
it's funny that people would say that because it's like it perfectly highlights the problem or like what's hard about doing UI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like it's really like if he said you have to look at it for 2 seconds. You don't even, you have to know what it is without even looking at it. Like in
Yeah,
your
that's
peripheral
true.
vision almost. And you have to recognize it. And it only has like the tiniest little bit of opportunity to convey information, and so it has to convey it very clearly. So it's funny that you say people see the parry icon and it's somewhat confusing, but I think we did it like that because, like Vip said, it gives it a unique shape, so it stands out more, even if it's technically not like what's happening.
Exactly. Cool. All right. So we got some nice questions here, like throwing it off. Now we're going to go in a bit more in-depth section. Like a lot of people sent more questions, and we're going to dive into some of these. And Vip, you can try as good as possible, but there's a lot of Roark directed ones.
Yeah, it's fine.
So where was it? So So what do you guys think of the game launch, the peak and the dips?
The peak and the
I think
dips.
we can I think we kinda expected that in a way.
Well, I definitely expect it because it's that happens to every single
Mhm.
game, every single
But
product probably.
Yeah, but I remember we talked about it was I think it was because it was mostly because of the season 4 hype, right? Because people wanted to like play more AOT games because of like the release of season 4. But after the well, it stopped,
Tropic
right? Like
playing
after like
out of his mind.
the season stopped and like people started to like kind of brush it off and like forget about AOT. They just kind of went along with the game as well,
Tropic
so they kind of
playing
forgot about the
out of
game
his
a little
mind.
bit too.
We actually had a really bad timing for release.
Yeah,
Like it would have been
was-
better to release a month or maybe 2 months earlier because the show was still airing, but obviously we couldn't because we were still like doing testing and it wasn't finished yet. But there definitely is a dip after the show ends and people stop Googling Attack on Titan. Like they when it's airing, people are like trying to get a fix after every episode. You know, they want more. And so they go looking for other Attack on Titan content. We actually got a lot of players when we released, which makes sense because the Discord has like 30,000 people. I think the peak, if I remember, was like 1,800.
I think it was somewhat like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that only lasts like a day
Yeah.
because a lot of
That's
that's
for most
people. A lot
games.
of that's people checking it out because they're slightly curious, but they're not actually interested. Like they haven't been waiting for it. They just are like, "What the hell is this?" And then it was like a steady decline, and it seemed like we, after like about a month, we steadied out at around 200.
Yeah.
And then there were some YouTube videos made by Globku, and I guess because his audience is really like into Attack on Titan and that kind of stuff, they're really inclined to like it. But there was a big spike in players after that,
Yeah.
and a lot of those players stuck around. So it was more at like 300, 350 for a while. It might be back down now because that was a while ago, but there definitely does seem to be like a pretty dedicated core of players.
Yeah.
Which is nice, because that was one of our worries when we released, was that like, oh, people will check it out, play it for a bit. The game doesn't really have that much depth in terms of like content, just from like a pure content perspective. So it wasn't clear if people would stick around, but some people have, which is really cool.
Yeah. I know a lot of people. Like I've been playing since day one, and I have a general. I feel like I have a general good grasp of who's playing and who's not. And sometimes you hear someone like quote unquote retired, and then they just show up
Yeah.
again, and like it's a bit of a mess right now. But I feel like the dedicated players like are always going to be here. So I feel like there's always going to be like a surplus of 100 players per day.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is that would kind of be like it, because there's like a certain number of players that if you fall below that, it's kind of like a waterfall effect, because there are no servers to join, so more people stop playing. So I'm not sure exactly what that number is, but I don't think it's hit that yet. I mean, it does depend on your region. I don't want to like pretend like all the people in like Asia don't exist, because for them it is really hard to find servers and stuff, and that sucks. So I would really like if that sub community could grow more. That would be really cool. Right now it's mostly North America and EU,
Yeah.
or like Europe countries.
Yeah, true. All right. Let's move on to the next one, because we got a lot of questions ahead of us, and we already been here like half an hour, 40 minutes. Time goes
Wow.
fast, past so fast, man. It's insane. Okay, so what were your so you know the casual play. Vip, you played with us in the beginning of the start of the game, and we had some fun there. And Roark,
Yep.
you joined in like a bit later when the competitive scene was really like kind of established and people didn't really know it was you. They kind of bullied you because you had the name Roark. It was like a mess and a half. So, but what were your what is your reactions and what is your thoughts on the casual slash competitive scene? Like the two the two each. Like you can start with the casual scene and then move into the competitive scene. Like what was your reaction?
Um, well, the casual scene is they're totally different. Um, as far as the casual scene goes, to me it seems like there's a lot of people who there's like a high turnover. There's a lot of people who come to check it out because it's AOT, and then they lose interest maybe a week, maybe a couple weeks later. But there's they that's where you get like your people who are like they're waiting for Titans or something. You know what I mean? Like they're not really they're not really deep in the game. So it's just totally different, and it's hard to analyze because I feel like every casual player is a lot different than each other. Like they're there for tons of different reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
For the competitive though, it's a lot easier to like analyze because there's a lot more like trends and the players know each other. They have reputations. So in that sense, I think the competitive scene's really cool. When I saw that was happening, well, first I thought it was kind of crazy because I didn't expect it in the game. Then I thought I felt kind of bad because we kind of didn't set up for that, if that makes sense. Like we didn't plan on that.
Oh, what are you talking about now? Maybe 5 APGs?
We never well, yeah, we never like balanced on the assumption of like competitive tournaments. We didn't add features to the game that would help streamers, like quality of life for streamers or commentators for events. So that kind of stuff, I felt kind of bad, but it was fun to see people making the most of what the game had to offer. I don't know if Vip wants to jump in with his opinions on it.
Yeah, because Vip, you played a lot in the like you played a fuck ton with us. It's so insane. Like, what is your like view on the casual scene, and then like what was your reaction on the competitive scene blow up?
We like Roark said, we never really expected to be a pro scene. To be fair, we were just like we were so focused on releasing the game back at like testing and just trying our best to release the game. I think we probably joked about it, like I think we made jokes about like Roark esports and that kind of stuff, but we never really expected people to invest that much time into it and actually like the game so much that they want to make teams and make tournaments. We really never expected it. So yeah, it kind of felt a little bit bad that like they didn't really had too much tools to work with. They had to like kind of improvise on the fly, like making like to making tournaments, to making what's it called, to be able to like maybe some stuff like needed to be changed and all that stuff. So like it was a little bit hard. It was hard to see it, but it's really nice to see that like people are really that invested into it. It's like kind of fun to see like the tournaments too. Like they're really fun to look at. And the casual players, I guess, like kind of agree with Roark. I don't think I have anything else more to add. It's more that like you always have those people that will come in, maybe play for a day or two, or maybe a week, or maybe a little bit more time, but it's not exactly their type of game, or they don't really have that much time to like play it or any other like any other type of scenario you can add it to it. It's like there will always be people like that, and yeah, that's normal to happen.
Yeah. All right. So we will soon get into some really in-depth stuff, like some stuff I don't even know if Roark can actually talk about yet. But first, I wanna round the community as a whole, and the forbidden three-lettered word.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
the GCR. What kind of thoughts are you like? What are your thoughts behind like the whole community in this game, and also what were your reaction and like thoughts behind GCR through this whole like these like 4 months?
Well, from the beginning, it's been a very long journey. It feels like feels longer than 3 or however many months since I've been involved in it. Initially, not just GCR, but like all the unofficial servers that were running events. I thought it was amazing. Like it was amazing to me that people were willing to put in so much of their time to organize these things and to like stream stuff, to volunteer to commentate, and also just to put in the effort to like form teams, to show up when their matches were. Like that's really cool because it's like a kind of a dedication that you won't get from a casual scene, obviously.
Yeah.
So for a long time, the unofficial servers were just really awesome to me, and I actually really appreciated that work because it was work that we weren't doing to support the community. And then because it was going so well and it was really motivating to see, we wanted to do official tournaments and actually start participating in that scene. And there's lots of benefits to that. Obviously, as the developer, I can make changes to the game specifically for the competitive stuff. So like for casters or streamers to have more tools and make the streams better. And we started doing that, and it was going pretty well. But I think the moment we started doing that, it was actually kind of inevitable that issues would happen, because different servers kind of have different rules because they have different people running them, and they sort of start up independently. Everybody knows each other, but they kind of do their own thing. So when all the unofficial servers are kind of equals, it doesn't matter. There's no authority really to dictate like a specific set of rules or something. But when the official stuff comes up, it gets a lot more complicated, because say we ban people from events, they can still participate in the scene by going to unofficial servers, and it's not really a ban in that case, because you're not really banning them from the Discord. You're trying to prevent them from accessing the scene itself. So unless there's some kind of synchronization between the staff of all these servers, at least some kind of agreement on how like rules will be, doesn't have to exactly agree, but there have to be some agreements, then it's going to diverge too much. And I feel like in GCR's case, that's pretty much what happened. There's just no agreement between the leadership of either server, and it just leads to a snowballing of issues. Yeah. I think that's the simplest description of the situation.
Yeah, fully understandable. What about you, Vib? You haven't said much about this matter.
I haven't said it. I do know what happened, but it's just that I kind of agree. I agree with work. I don't think I have anything more to add. like the last 2 weeks that this has happened and all that kind of stuff, I haven't really been into the Discord. I haven't really know much of the context, so I don't really have like I don't really know what to add here. I don't think I even have anything to add.
That is
It's
also.
it's a really like complicated situation.
Yeah.
And it's especially complicated because it involves like people. It's not just like arguing about a game mechanic. And that makes it way more difficult to not only like try and deal with, but also just even talk about, because there's a lot of disagreement. So yeah, it's hard enough to talk about sensibly when you are aware of the situation. So I definitely wouldn't expect Vip to chime in when he hasn't been following anything.
Oh no.
I feel like that's the case for a lot of players and stuff, like in Vip's position, where it doesn't, there's not like really much context to it. It feels kind of almost out of nowhere, maybe. I'm not sure. I won't speak for how players feel about it, but I would understand if that was the case.
Yeah. So, now that we have addressed the elephant in the room, let's move on to some more. I wouldn't say like yeah, some other stuff. We have a lot of stuff to go through, so I will just jump into the first one here. So, do you guys have any new ideas for new classes, weapon types, or any sort of that stuff?
Yes.
And how much
I
can
hope that
you
answers your
say?
question.
Yeah, that's all you're getting. Just a yes.
No elaboration.
No elaboration.
No, I can elaborate. It's not like it's that much of a secret. First of all, it's Attack on Titan, and
Yeah.
we stay pretty true to the source material. So there's really only so much that can be added. You know, we're not adding like nuclear bombs or like assault rifles, you know, like that. We have to stay within Attack on Titan's canon.
Yeah.
So I think
We already
everybody is
went
well
for-
aware that the most obvious weapon would be a rifle, basically a longer range gun.
Like people are saying in chat, like rifle class. Like, yeah, that
Yeah.
has
People
been
already
peaked
said it in the
before.
past.
It's the obvious choice.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Either it would be a joke or not. People already said it in the past, so it's like, yeah, like Roarks, like there's nothing really. We already went far enough, for example, as the dummies, because like technically the dummies for like the Thunder Spear and the APG are not canon. We already went as far as like adding stuff that isn't really canon to the game, so like we can't really add that much stuff into it, like new stuff that isn't accurate.
Well, we
those are pretty minor though.
Yeah,
I feel
but,
like,
but
yeah.
we
I feel
don't
like that's
know
fine.
that because we don't actually see them train in the anime with the Thunder Spears or the APG, so we
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
don't know if it is canon or not. Like we can just call it canon and like leave it hanging there.
Yeah, we have extended the AOT universe.
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now a follow up on this one.
Lana?
Oh wait, oh yeah, what?
No, I was just mentioning Lana.
Oh yeah,
Just
Lana.
brief-
That's true actually.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if you wanted more details about the weapon. Like I believe Moose, like he discussed this in the main server in a bit of depth.
Yeah.
Just imagine people heading over to like game discussion now and searching for Moose messages, but
can already picture it in my head.
but it's like it's just talk, right? Like there's no actual development happening on that.
And
like,
you're paid to say
currently?
that, of course, right?
Yeah, paid by myself to do that.
It was
yeah.
easier to say that I was paid.
It's all a big conspiracy. Okay. So now another thing, because as you said, you're staying to the manga, you're staying true to the universe. Would you ever see yourself adding, potentially adding a weapon or a class or any sort of gear that is not seen in the anime or the manga?
I would not know what it would be.
No.
Like it's not just about staying true to the source. It's also about fitting the theme and the aesthetic.
Yeah.
You can't add in like an energy sword and have that feel like it makes any sense. You know, like it. I know that games kind of do that. That hasn't been really been my approach with this game. I've tried to keep things stylistically consistent, at least.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it would be really.
I mean,
That would have
we
like no connection to the universe.
yeah, but that's the thing. We do see a big difference from you know, Eldian Empire to Malian Empire. Like Mali is like way more advanced with already semi-automatic pistols. They have tanks rolling around. They have a lot of different stuff. So you would imagine they're around like the World War One or even like a bit further, a bit closer to the World War Two era, right? So like there is potential for like they have technology for blimps and, as I said, semi-automatic pistols and actual cannons. Like, do you ever do you have any idea that if that would be like something to add, because you already kind of implemented the cannons and the thunder spears and the guns in the APG, but maybe like a semi-automatic pistol that would just like ram everyone down and just make more players scream OPG.
uh, I wouldn't add the semi-auto pistols. The main reason is because there's no way to balance that without
Yeah.
making them feel clumsy.
Yeah.
Because like if you try to balance it and you make it so that it's so ineffective that it's not even fun to use anymore, then it's pointless to add. What the weapon does should be at least somewhat related to how effective it looks. Like at least with the APG, you can get away with making it shorter range, maybe even a bit inaccurate, because it's got that shotgun, old school like front-loaded musket kind of feel.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of just shooting out a bunch of crap in the general direction. But with like more modern weapons, it's hard to get away with that. Like that's not how a Luger works, or whatever kind of pistols they're using. Like it doesn't have that same feel. It's a totally different technology. I feel like it'd be hard to work with.
Yeah.
Actually hard to balance.
But
Yeah,
but when it comes to
exactly.
like other things you said, obviously I'm not adding tanks. That's insane. If I was gonna put in all the effort to add vehicles, you might as well just make Titans a vehicle. Like any suggestion that is even remotely similar to complexity of adding Titans, it's like, no, why would I do that? I could have just added Titans.
Yeah.
So that stuff's kind of out.
You can go full EA style and be like, yeah, you can buy the Titan DLC, and then you can like get this Eren Jaeger attack Titan and like maybe have it for like a month, and then you have to pay a monthly subscription. Yeah.
Titan
For only
DLC
$49.99.
would be the most pirated DLC
Yeah.
ever.
Man.
We would set records. Cannons, though, I think cannons are interesting. Somebody in the chat said grenades. Grenades are interesting. Grenades are a weapon.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And you wouldn't have a grenade class, in my opinion, but it could be an attack that is available to a certain kind of class. The same way that the throwing blades is another attack for the swords.
So maybe even like now I'm just thinking loud here, like if you were going to let's say make another class, right? Because right now I feel like all the classes are like filled up to the brim with whatever resources they need. But let's say that you decide to make a rifle class. You could set it as mouse button 2 to throw a grenade, and then you could early activate it by shooting the grenade midair, something like that.
Well, I do think a grenade would be a secondary attack for some kind of class. For the rifle, I'm more inclined to use something like a bayonet because the rifle's gonna have, like, if it's a season 4 rifle, it's going to have a lot of killing power, and at long range, I don't really see it needing an area of effect attack as well. Like, it's kind of just like adding to its power creep.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would be the best place for it.
No. It was also just an idea. Like I played
Yeah.
back in the days. I played a lot of Unreal Tournament, and there's it's not the ray gun. It's like the plasma gun or something like that. You can. It kind of has the same effect where you right click and then it shoots out an orb, and if you left click on that orb, it just explodes into a like big explosion. So it's just like kind of a throwback to that.
Shooting stuff out of the air is like, it's hard,
Yeah, it is.
and
Especially
it would
in
be
this
rare.
game, yeah.
It's the same reason why, like, you can't shoot a thunder spear while it's moving, because why spend the time to add that in when it's like,
But imagine the cloud if someone did it live. Imagine that, man. Someone would really pop off and be like, "I'm the best player in the world."
Yeah, there would be
Yeah,
definitely
I
like
don't know.
that 0.1% of people that would actually be able to do something like that. But it, like, although it is really cool to think about it, it's just like so inviable to actually add a mechanic that only, like, not even 1% of the people would be able to even do.
or at least it would be, it's like if something gets hard enough to pull off, it loses its strategic value.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not reliable, it has no strategic use.
It would be more of a show off to put in like a YouTube montage video or like something like that. Like you said, like someone to just go into game media and say, I'm the best player of the world because cause I got a thunder spear in the middle of like a flight or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I
feel
just
like,
don't see why it would be useful.
No.
That's
I already see it like becoming a thing with the sneak peek, the thunder spear reflect. That someone eventually will be so lucky that they hit a thunder spear reflect and it bounces into another guy and explodes. Like, I can already see it for myself. I'm just waiting for it when the patch hits, or if yeah.
yeah.
So okay, let's move on to the next thing. So there's someone a couple of people are asking into like if you're aware of they call it they took it like this. So they said, are you aware of these current problems and are you trying to fix them, like animation, like landing animation box, blurm dancing, ledge issues, all of that's kind of like yeah, exactly.
I love the names that you guys come up with. It's just way too funny.
Okay, wait. Go through the list. Just what's the first thing?
So landing animation, the infamous landing animation.
Yeah. People have, as I believe, there are skill issues at play here. No, it is annoying. It happens to me all the time when I play. I do know of it, and yeah, I'll fix it.
Oh, landing
said I
animation removed confirmed.
I'm not gonna remove it. The only reason it's there is because there's no other way to like land on something.
Okay.
I think
Like
think
without it,
the
without it,
reason
you'll
we
run
added-
off the edge.
Yeah,
of whatever
exactly.
you
Yeah,
do.
the
know-
reason we added it was because of the tree. Sorry, is because of the trees, the tree branches on the map that we had like I don't know how many years that was, but like we had a map where people could not land on that, like on the branches because like you wouldn't stop. Like there was no way to stop your momentum, and you would just like fall off every single time. So like that was the like biggest reason.
Yeah.
Hype just said it in the chat, but yeah, I was just gonna use the reload key to
Yeah. That could
to
be
make
cool.
it so that because then it's a deliberate action.
But can I ask you
It's
this?
not-
Can I ask you about this then? Isn't reeling out just the same as if we were going to hold W? Like I'm just like, try to live with me here, right?
Wait, what?
So if you were going to like hold oh no, okay, so it's hold the control to make you get the landing animation.
Yeah. It
Oh,
flips it. It flips
I
it
see.
to a
Yeah, I
right
see.
now it's a passive action. It happens unless you intervene.
Yeah.
by making it you have to hold control, you flip that. It's an action that requires you to do something specific.
Yeah, I thought it was the
kind of
other way
flips it.
around, where if you hold control, you would not get the landing animation.
No, it's the other way.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Because
I'm
most
just
of the time people don't press control. Yeah, because most
Yeah.
of the time people don't use control.
Yeah,
so
you're
that's
not
why,
accidentally holding control.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Really, like in that circumstance.
That would like just take the problem from W and move it to like control instead. Okay,
Yeah.
the next thing, animation
Okay.
bugs. I think we're talking roll reload. I think we're talking
Oh, yeah,
instant
yeah, yeah.
flares. I think we're talking any kind of way that fucks the animation up.
Yeah, those are straight up bugs. Like there's no other description
there's
of
no
it. They're just
debate.
bugs. The
Yeah.
game is
Yeah.
broken in those senses, and they will be fixed. I believe I've already fixed the current ones, but it's actually part of a bigger problem with how the animations work. Like that's why so many of them have popped up. So whenever testing gets going properly, I think that will probably be a focus of testing is trying to like find where there are exploits in animations, because they're a real problem, because they undermine like whatever balance is being attempted there, and it's really tempting to use them because they give an advantage. So it's a big problem for, I think, the competitive scene in particular. I don't think casual players would really care too much.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely want to fix it. And also, actually, no, I won't. I'll let you finish your list.
No, what? I want to hear this.
No, I was just gonna. No.
Nah, okay.
Finish your list. We'll come back.
Okay,
to it.
so now mobility involving stuff. V-hopping, berm dancing, roof hopping, wave
Okay,
dashing.
that was what I was gonna say.
All of that stuff. All of the stuff where we took your mobility engine and we fucked it over.
What? Okay, I'm sorry, but what the hell is the dancing one?
You haven't heard about the dancing?
No, I might have seen it. I just don't know the name for it.
So berm dancing is basically a technique that some people figured out, that you can, if you get the right momentum, if you get the right momentum at the start of your cabling, you can not use gas at all and still gain insane acceleration and speed.
Okay, yeah.
If you just hook to different rooftops, you can just keep going and literally go around the map like so fast with no gas.
Yeah. I know about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah. That one is the same as debate as the other ones. It's
Yeah.
like there's no debate. That's a literal bug. There's like nothing to debate if
Well,
it's like...
it is like the way the swinging with the cables works is that it does like accelerate you, and that's so that when you're swinging around something, it feels like you're swinging around it really quickly.
Yeah.
And not just kind of like you would like with real physics, just kind of like go around it whatever your current speed was and slow down. So it does accelerate you, and that's why all these problems happen, is because that's not how physics is supposed to work, and so it gets really weird. I'm not sure how to fix it. I'm sure there are ways. The problem is that you don't want to ruin other stuff when trying to fix these kinds of movement issues. Like, you don't want to fix it, but then also make the swinging feel terrible.
No, exactly.
Right? And it's so like it's these things are way trickier than like the animation skipping bugs.
But that's also the thing we talk about a lot, like especially in the competitive scene. Like, just because it makes sense doesn't mean it, like because it's like actually doable doesn't mean that it's actually fun. So like you gain acceleration because you're swinging around, and that is like not at all true. You actually lose acceleration, you actually lose speed when you swing around, like the pendulums stuff. But it just doesn't make the game funnier, right? And it just has to work with, okay, we can tweak this and make it actually better, or we can just stay to realism and make it shitty as fuck, right?
Yeah, there is no real physics.
Exactly.
Everything in this not just the game, but in AOT in
mind trick.
general, is completely made up.
Exactly.
None of it is realistic in any way. So
Technically, if
it's
it
a
were
bad
realistic-
it's a bad argument. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody argues for realism, to be fair, because it wouldn't make sense.
I see it once in a while that people are like, "Why can you block a bullet?" I mean, it's a game. Come on, we play it
Yeah.
to have fun. We play to connect to people, right?
Yeah, it's a
If you
game
were to
based on
make it
an anime.
realistic, yeah, if we were to make it realistic, we wouldn't have people flying with a gear at like Mach 10 and like they just snap they would just make a feature where if they just go fly, they just snap their backs the moment they fly off. Because like, there's no realism in this at all.
Yeah, we don't have collision damage or fall damage.
Yeah,
Not even
imagine
health.
Imagine collision damage, man, bro. I I've seen some, and
Yeah,
I've done it myself as well. Like hit a wall, you're dead. That's it, man.
Yeah, scrape a wall and you just die
Yeah.
immediately after.
Like just barely touch
that's
it
the
and you
thing.
turn into urban. Like holy damn.
Oh, so you mentioned roof jumping. I think roof jumping is dumb.
Yeah,
I
you
do.
don't like it. You actually don't like roof jumping.
I think it's dumb.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's just like, it would, maybe if it was like not as much as it is, it wouldn't annoy me. It's just too much.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay,
It's like a rocket.
I'm gonna ask a bit of a weird actually it actually leads up to it, but maybe like it's a question you probably won't like. So how do you feel about removing, like, let's say now people figured out bloom dancing, right? We can all agree it's super dumb and it gets so much speed, but like different kinds of loopholes that actually can raise the pro player level without touching the casual players base. Like how do you feel about removing those kind of things? Also when you hear the community talk about it, because I know for a fact that attack flaring and roll reloading were like very discussed topics, because it actually does it only kind of like helps the player a little bit, and it's very like risky to pull off, you know? How do you feel about removing those kind of stuff from the game?
I don't consider like the roll reload to be the same as something like roof jumping. Like the roll reload is a straight up bug. Like I personally don't see the value in that for being someone who's able to reliably exploit that.
Yeah.
Something like roof jumping is different because it's not like as clear that it's a bug. It's a particular feature of the game mechanics when used in a certain way. Like there's no bug there to like go fix. It has to do with just how the movement works. Those things are more complicated, and I'm less. I don't want to touch those as much as I would prefer to fix the other bugs.
Okay.
The only time I think it's a problem is like when it really starts to affect the balancing. Like if there are movement features that make gas or stress meaningless, then that's a problem. Like it's circumventing the game's like built-in balancing. So those things I would want to address.
Yeah.
I don't think roof jumping affects that, but some things might, and those would be higher priority.
Because I know a lot of players see, especially competitive players, sees roof jumping as just the third option to get higher into the air, right? And you actually need to be at very specific points in the like, I know City has a lot of roofs, but like in Training Forest, for example, there's only like a very certain specific set of places you can actually do this, and a lot of players just see it as like kind of a third option to get altitude, whereas otherwise you would be cabling or you would be holding your E, right? So like from the competitive perspective, you can also understand that sometimes it feels like weird that we're kind of same with the Blum dancing and stuff like that, that we're kind of lowering the skill ceiling for the competitive scene by removing some of these things.
Yeah, no, it's mostly just me looking at it and being like, that looks dumb, and I don't like the way it looks. That's pretty much what's happening. It's me being a fun ruiner. I'm not gonna remove that stuff just cause though. Like, if it's not doing any harm to like other game mechanics, then like balancing mechanics especially, then I don't really care at the end of the day. It's always on a case by case basis for what the particular exploit is.
Yeah.
So like people don't have to like stress out that I'm gonna remove their favorite exploit. I might just modify it, I guess, maybe. I don't even know. I'd prefer not to have to do extra work, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, exactly. I understand that. I totally understand that. Okay, we're actually getting to some. I kind of want to go through all of the balancing things first, and then we can like lead up to the some other stuff that we have planned.
You should ask a question. Vip can jump in on because I got to go get some more water.
Yeah. Okay. Vip, what let's see here, because a lot of them, as I said, a lot of them is like really coded, and
yeah, it's really hard for me to jump in the coding questions. I can't really answer as much as work.
Yeah, exactly. Anywho, I can actually ask, like, are you currently working on anything for the game, and like as of right now, are you working on any new models or any like new icons or anything in that sort of way?
Well, I'm gonna answer you. I'm gonna answer you with your own question. Is you guys are like, well, Irvin's confirmed.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So we know that portrait is coming.
We know, but that portrait is coming, and you also saw the sneak peeks. For example, the new Thunderspear behavior. I'm not sure if everyone here in the chat's seen it, but like there is the sneak peeks with the new icons that were made because of those like what's it called, double shots, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but besides that, I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Yeah. Well, it's like kind of what I said to you before. It's kind of hard for me to like even say I have too much stuff to do, because most of this mostly when we were working, like when the game didn't release, I did had a lot of stuff to do because we didn't really had that much UI and all that stuff. Yeah. But now that we are getting into a point where like we only add like maybe one character, or maybe add a few stuff that doesn't really need an UI, it's a little bit hard. I kind of most of the time I don't really have much to do because I just don't have.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like, especially game design, like usually like the people, I get it on this game because you can get a lot of people to do small tasks on like each and everything.
Tropic playing
and
out of his mind.
Oh shit. Sorry. So I understand that you somewhat get stuck at some point because there just isn't any more left to do, right?
Yeah, it's mostly contributed work, and like I said before, it's a little bit, it's technically a little bit hard for me to even do much work here, because like, what's it called? Whenever like 2D artists in like major games, they're usually hired for either UI art, or they are hired for like concept arting and all that, like all other stuff. But this game doesn't need concept arting. If we're not adding like something like completely new, that is, right? Like we don't need concept arting for like APG, because there's like at least a bazillion images on Google of APG and even models online. You don't really need it.
Yeah.
But so it's like I don't really know. Like it's like it depends on like what we're adding. But besides that, I mostly don't really have that much to do, but it just depends on like what we are adding.
Yeah. So when they make Kenny, you will be stepping up and making the portrait for that, right?
I am just I
No.
yeah.
No.
Okay, yeah, no. You heard it here, folks.
What did someone come and ruin the fun we had?
No. I don't have a sniper laser on my forehead right about now.
Okay. I hear that Roark is back. We were just talking about you. Like
Yeah, no, I heard.
funny.
I heard Kenny and I got triggered.
Yeah.
There is actually like some questions about Kenny, but we can keep them for now. Because that's another category I want to move into.
Good old Kenny.
We have a very simple question, very simple question, and Vip, you can put your thought into that, or your thoughts on that if you want. It's aimed towards Roark again, but I want to hear your thoughts on it as well. Hit scan swords question mark.
Oh boy.
It's kind of tricky to do that.
Okay.
But would you believe me if I said that it's been tried?
I
Like,
would definitely believe you, because I could
Yeah.
actually see it not work, but I could see that you would probably try it just for the shits and the giggles.
well, I think it would be more convenient if it worked. Like that's a more convenient. It's easier to do hit scan,
Yeah,
just technically speaking.
most definitely, yeah.
The reason it doesn't work with swords is because they're like melee, they're close range. And the big problem with doing sword stuff is that
Tropic
you
playing
have to
out of his mind.
consider a lot what is happening on the victim's end. So like everybody's aware that swords, even with a normal amount of ping, can start looking really bad on the victim's end of things.
Yeah.
And to do a kind of hit scan sword, you're gonna have to basically move the player instantly, or at least really fast.
Yeah.
And
Almost
that's
like a
just gonna
teleport,
make
yeah.
yeah, and that's gonna make those problems worse. Like without some really much more advanced networking setup that the game just doesn't have. So
So
it's very complicated.
what do you think about it when you hear it, VP? Teleporting swordsmen flashing around on the map.
Yeah, kind of. I don't like. See, there's always that type of like. There's always the other's point of view, right? Although it would look cool and like, there's always that like problem with balancing on the game that like it's hard to make it entertaining and make it fair, like equally fair for both players. So either the ODM user or whoever is getting absolutely slashed to pieces, and it's kind of hard to like balance it. And I think we did try a lot of stuff and try to see what we could do with it. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. It just depends on the testing. It like we did work to say we might have tested it, but it's something that it's hard to say. Like it's hard to say out of like thought, just thinking about it. Because like another example I can do, if we don't mind like going a little bit deeper into this, like pairing bullets. I remember when I was thinking about that, it was like one of the stupidest ideas that one could think of. And like look at where they are now. They're fun. They're like kind of rewarding in a way. Some people might argue that it isn't, but yeah, it's still something, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely.
And it's something that adds to the game, and it's fun and all that stuff. So like, but for example, I wouldn't have thought it was like that good, or maybe I thought it was like too good and it wasn't that good at all. It just depends on the testing and seeing if it actually works on paper or not.
Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go into some more balancing stuff. I think there is one more here somewhere. I was just looking at it right before. Oh yeah. So there's someone who is asking, do you intend to add like more complex attacks, or do you want to keep it very minuscule? Like, you know, we have all seen it. The Levi fanboys coming into the server asking how do I spin attack, right?
Yep.
The famous
They sure
Levi
do.
Yeah.
So, do you intend to add anything like complex attack mechanics, or is it going to be these like sleek, simple, nice attacks?
I think that those like that kind of stuff is definitely like fair game. This patch that's being worked on is all combat expansions. It's not like it's a new class or something. It's just some additional stuff onto the existing classes. So where it makes sense, I think it's good to kind of expand the depth of the classes, just so that there's more options. Like something that's bothered me about the game is that there's imbalance between swords and the other classes. Not just like in terms of how they're effective or whatever, but actually in terms of how many options are available to the player when you're using it.
Yeah.
And because with the swords you can lunge, but you also can throw the swords. And they have very different use cases. And it lets you be a bit more creative, which is nice. When it comes to like the guns, you just shoot. Obviously the movement mechanics play into things a lot, but just in terms of like the actual weapons abilities. So I like the idea of expanding the combat just to make things more interesting.
Yeah. But I also
and
feel
to
there's a
rob them.
limit to it with only one health, one life kind of thing.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. You're limited when you have no health, because you can't use like different damage values, right?
Yeah.
The way things are balanced is very different than you would in other games. But there's still ways you can do it. So things like range or speed, things like that can be different. So yeah, I'm not against adding additional mechanics. It's kind of just hard to think them up. Like, you don't want to add a mechanic that is garbage and like pointless, right? It should be useful, at least in some situations.
Yeah.
There's no point in adding a mechanic that is like either not gonna be used or it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Like, it's just like there's no point in adding it, like putting the time and effort to putting it.
Which is ironic in a way, because like you said, everyone asks for the Levi spin, but it would be totally redundant.
Yeah.
Like, what is it going
like,
to give you that you don't? It's just the lunge. Like, it's a terrible thing to add, in my opinion.
Technically, even wall running adds a little bit more than just like the Levi spin. Like, even wall running gives a little bit more, because like technically, although it's like mostly cosmetic stuff as well, it does add a little bit more to the gameplay than just like the animation for the like Levi spin.
Yeah, but maybe people just care about the animation. Like, I don't know.
I feel like there could be room for it, but I also feel like, you know, in the anime it's kind of a personal trait and all of that. So I kind of feel like it would be kind of shit to give everyone like every character the possibility to do it. But I like, one possibility would be like when when you grapple around the corner, you do a little like a little spin when you get around the corner and let go of the hook. That could most likely be integrated into like, not really say a separate attack, like another complex attack, but just like an animation for the attack. You know, that could maybe be an idea.
It's been considered, but we're so limited.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of our time, that we can do stuff. That
Yeah.
I don't know. We try and be careful about what kind of goals we set.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that we don't want to add this kind of stuff. It's just that we would rather put our time into doing something like putting something more, not something more relevant, like it's more like better or something like that, but something a little bit more like important.
Yeah,
just
more
schematic stuff.
significant.
Yeah, more significant. Yeah.
Yeah, like right now, like when everyone saw the tournament stream, they almost instantly picked up on, hey, when you go high end on the map, there's no fog. What is happening, right? So people instantly realized, okay, he has been doing something at least, right? Even though we won't patch, like this kind of makes sense to add.
He's doing something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been working a lot on the tourney build, so like a lot of support for casters.
Yeah.
Some of that does translate to the normal game though.
Ooh.
And like I think there will be things that people will appreciate, especially teams. So it's not like it's wasted work. I personally think it's really important to support the casters and stuff, because the competitive stuff is the kind of the lifeline of the game.
Yeah.
Um,
I kind of agree with you on that. I feel like if the game keeps going like this, I think it's gonna. And I've said this like tons of times. I think it's gonna have to get the Rocket League treatment.
in what sense?
Yeah, what sense? Yeah.
In the sense that Rocket League got released, everyone played it, like it was fun on the release. Kind of died down. Nobody really heard about it. Then suddenly, a lot of pro players in Rocket League and the competitive scene blew up, and people actually got interested into it again. Like, it kind of needs like patches or the competitive scene to drive new players into playing. I feel like that is where it's heading right now.
Yeah, I think that's like the only long term strategy is to play towards the players who are putting a lot of time into it, who are like committed to it. It's one thing to like add a crazy exciting looking feature that will draw in a lot of players and you'll get that huge boost in your player base, but that's temporary. Like without something to actually keep people there, those people will just leave.
Yeah.
So I personally think it's pretty important to do stuff that improves competitive stuff, and also the ability to like have really good looking tournaments and stuff, to encourage like viewers, really. Stuff like that is what's gonna keep people interested more, I feel.
Yeah. You basically,
Like in the long term.
You basically answered the question that I was going to ask, and I was like, if what direction you want to take the game right now, if you want to embrace the competitive scene or like stay with the casual player base, and I feel like you got around that pretty well, so I'm just gonna swipe that off. Not gonna lie. We have I kind of we can get through these like code stuff and stuff like this. So I'm gonna ask. You can also put because I think this is like Musa's area, but you both can give like whatever answer you feel like most comfortable with. Are there any plans of making like really large scale maps with large player limits that might be supported by dedicated servers?
There's a lot there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I want to get it out of the room.
There.
First of all, dedicated servers.
Yeah, not a thing.
Well, they're not currently a thing, and it would be a lot of work. And by dedicated servers, that means community hosted dedicated servers.
Exactly.
That's another thing that I think is a super important long-term strategy for the game. Allowing people to like host servers with good uptime, but also with solid connections. Because like right now, so much depends on the host and them being available and having a good PC and all sorts of stuff like that. But that's a lot of work, so I can't really say too much about that right now.
Okay.
When it comes to more players, that is also complicated because the game is it's not actually, but it's kind of peer-to-peer, in the sense that there's a lot of data that the host has to manage, and every additional player you add, the amount of data that gets sent around goes up exponentially. So it's pretty difficult to have too many players unless the host has, an amazing upload rate and
Or
an
they just
internet
have
connection.
like a straight up server that they can use to like host it.
Yeah, but even in that case, you're going to be looking at more expensive hosting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
It's not
like dedicated
likely that
servers
will
doesn't
happen.
fix it.
Yeah.
hmm Large maps.
That's an interesting one.
I don't know. Again, it depends. That really is a Moose thing. I don't know what his longer term plans are. I won't speak for him on that. But large maps have issues, mainly with performance. A lot of the players have really not good PCs, and a really large map is just going to make that problem worse. And if there's only like 8 players in the game, it's hard to find people, and it just slows down the gameplay. So I don't know about bigger maps. I don't think I can give like an actual answer on that.
That's alright, man. It's alright. I also feel like I feel like it shouldn't get larger than Training Forest and City, because there is already problems on that on those maps, like with the skybox being I think the skybox is a bit too high on both maps, I'm gonna say. And also the whole size of the maps makes it very like iffy when you get down to 1v1 situations on the competitive scene, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with you on the ceiling
Yeah.
height for sure.
It just ends up people like just flying all over the place instead of being like close to the ground. You just see everyone flying.
It's just
because of
like
that.
just burst straight up and then just
Yeah.
Yeah.
thunder spear people is like
Right. Mortar fire.
yeah, it's
Exactly.
I don't think it's ideal.
All right. Now there's a couple of one, but I want to get through this one real quick. This is like just let's get this quick with. So are there any plans for more lobby options, like round timers, like more like in depth, or more like what's it called, more precise options for round timers, round kill limits, flare timers, flare duration, flare cooldown, all of those kind of things that you solve in the lobby? Are there any like plans to update this?
I think the round timer is important, like because we've seen that matters a lot in competitive matches.
Yeah, especially in
Being able
competitive
to
matches.
being able to control how long the round time is.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. For game modes where there is a round timer, at least.
Yeah.
The other stuff, I don't know if it's worth expanding on. Like do you really need more than 3 options for flare settings?
I'm not gonna lie, we actually have been playing with some like touched on the flare timers and flare settings and stuff like that, and in our scrims with 139 we actually felt like there was a problem with the flared duration. We always felt like you were flared for so long. It felt insane. It felt like the flare would never get off of you, right? And you also got punished if you never hit your flares either. So you just wanted to wait them out. We actually tried with lower flare settings. The problem just gets to this now, that now you're marked for a short amount of time, which is actually super great, because then it forces and puts pressure on your team to actually make a decision when you have vision. But the flare cooldown is also so short, then you can have a 100% flare time, like flare uptime, if you do it correctly.
Why don't you just raise the cooldown time?
Yeah, that is also a thing. Then it just feels like it takes too long for you to get a new flare. But I mean, that is also, I think that is where like the question really came from, because I feel like people want to get real in depth with it and actually also balance some of these things.
Yeah, those things aren't balanced, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
In testing, there was no like extensive balancing of those settings or their values.
Yeah.
That's something that like you can't know until there's people who are playing the game seriously, and the testers just aren't competitive players like back when we were testing. So like the actual values for those things can change, like what the defaults are, for example, but I don't know if I would put much more energy into like allowing finer control over it. I'd prefer to just figure out what some good defaults are and then allow some variation on that. Yeah. That comes back to like not wanting to spend time on stuff that isn't going to give you that much bang for your buck.
We're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah, exactly. Like what is most important to actually implement?
Time implement, like thinking about time and all that stuff in this project is probably the most troublesome thing.
Yeah,
like what can
time.
we do? Yeah, what can we do with the time we have at hands, and what can we not do?
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of stuff like either like maybe like quality of life changes or like something like that. It's like it's kind of hard for like to add it or like to even say to like even reply to it, because like we can't really say how we if we can add it, like if we have the time to even do it. It's not even that we don't want to most of the time.
Yeah, if you even the stuff that's been sneak peeked, like the spear pairing, for example, a part of the reason why that can be added is because it's not too difficult to add, because pairing is already in the game. It's just like expanding that. Same with like the double shot. It's adding on to something that already exists. It's a lot easier than like doing brand new stuff, or like it's way less complicated than adding a new weapon type, for example.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is like pretty important in deciding what to actually work on.
All right, I think that rounds it out actually. Yeah, I get the idea. I think that personally I think it would be cool with some more options, but I mean it's just like, as you said, like it's more important stuff that needs focus first.
Yeah, it's not that we don't like we disagree like with adding
exactly.
some stuff like that. Yeah, it's just that it's hard to time manage everything and like to think like what can we add and what can we not, and like not like waste time.
Mm-hmm.
Another one here that is quite controversial. Are there any plans on making a matchmaking / ranked / leaderboard system,
Oh god.
so players with different skill levels can compete for a higher ranking?
I'll go. Yeah, if you want, I can even start off with this. Kind of wanted to talk about it. I was like wondering if you were gonna say that or not.
Let me take some of it then.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if you want to say first, Roark, that's fine.
Go ahead.
I think we got that question. I think we got that question, like, not as much, but like a lot of questions, the same kind of stuff, or like adding titans as well. But like the stuff about it is that I, for example, personally I see the point of it. It's like to be able to go into matches that where you don't get immediately wrecked by someone that is way better than you, but it is also comes down to that point of like we don't have the time to do it, and there's also another thing that is it sounds like it works way more complicated than people would think. Like there's a lot of stuff that that you need to do in order that we would have to change about the game itself to be able to do something like that. we would be able to like, I think we answered that a few times in game discussion, but like you would have to have an entire account system where like it would store everyone's data and like a server, like a main server, to know which person to matchmake, because you can't just like put a matchmaking system without someone like some sort of like database to like store all that data of like, okay, this guy is like he's really bad at the game, okay, leave him that pile. Oh, this guy's really good, let's leave him that pile. So there's a lot of like stuff where we need to like a lot of work that we would need to do to be able to do something like that. And like that's more of a like, I think I guess that's more of a feature of like AAA games more than just like a fan game in a way, because like the amount of like work you have to do, and the amount of like, for example, you would have like an entire server dedicated to that, to like store data and store players like stats and all that stuff. Like it's, I guess it's kind of unviable in a way. It's like even do like just the thought of it is like almost unviable to a fan game in a way. That's my opinion, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to add on, like the main thing, like you mentioned, yeah, you have to store this data about all the players, which we're just not set up to do. We don't have user accounts. We've set things up in a way that's very inexpensive. I think to run the game, it doesn't cost me more than like $10 a month, you know, like it's cheap. So that decision was made deliberately so that the game could kind of sustain itself. You know, there's nothing worse than like if I had to pull the plug because I don't want to spend $250 a month or whatever it's costing, or have to actually make players pay in order to keep that stuff up. So yeah, that's a major thing. The other thing is that like how do you verify the data? Like you kind of have to have dedicated servers that you manage, because that data has to come from a trusted server. Otherwise, people could just host their own games and then pretend like they're getting tons of kills and rank up that way. Then there's another issue on top of it where we don't have the player base to segregate them. Like if you have a bronze, a silver, and a gold tiering system, the player base is too small to segment like that. Like there could be no silver players to play with, and you might end up having to play with gold players anyways, and now you're only playing with gold players. There's not even new players involved, you know, so it's kind of like just a different problem at that point anyways. And yeah, I feel like there's so many issues with trying to implement that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I thought it would be really cool to actually have like an unofficial / official kind of type leaderboard where you could actually like you know, where you could something like when you have the pro teams, you can look them up on the internet and you can see, okay, these guys are actually like the placed like this and this and this, and it would be more like committed towards the pro players, where you could actually see who's playing where and what team, and like the current rankings, quote unquote rankings of the players. Because I can for a fact say that a lot of people within the competitive scene are all agreeing that some people are better than others, and that is where I think the leaderboard will be most useful, like where to actually show that, okay, this guy who's playing on this team is actually like super good, but the team is not doing that good and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, like it's definitely a good, like it's definitely a good idea. There's a point, like there is a reason why like AAA studios, like a game like CS:GO or like for example any game with a ranking system exists. There's a reason why it exists. It works and it's cool and it helps a lot. Like a lot of players, not just the leaderboards and all that stuff. It always comes back to that pattern that like that we don't have the time to do that, and also the other point where like I don't think we can even do that in the first place. That's not even just like about time or even like be able to do it. It's more that like it's just completely, it's just an addition that we cannot just apply it to the game and
Very
banish
out
it
of
over
scope.
it. Yeah, very out of scope.
It's funny. It's kind of flattering in a way, I guess, but also a bit frustrating. There's a really high set of expectations for what could be possible in this game, which is, it's nice, like, that people have such high aspirations for it, but at the same time, it's like, you do have to remember it's a fan game. Like, it's still playing by fan game rules, and it's limited in all those ways that usually limit what are essentially hobby projects. And so it's like something to keep in mind, that when Vit brings up AAA games and what they're doing, it's kind of
Yeah,
kind of a
flattering.
non-starter to even be comparing ourselves to AAA games. Like, it's just not a valid comparison. So like, if people often say stuff like, oh, my game runs perfectly fine on high settings when I play Overwatch or something, and then they're talking about the performance in this game, and that might be true, but you probably shouldn't compare it to a game like Overwatch, you know, like, that has billions of dollars behind it.
Exactly.
The optimization in that game is like off the charts as well.
Yeah,
And they're
and they
also
have every
working
reason to
full
do
time
that.
on it as well. Like, you're
Exactly.
basically like not even half.
Yeah.
How many people? Like, hundreds of people?
Yeah. It's
Like, working full time.
Sometimes
It's
some
just not
comparisons, yeah.
comparable.
yeah.
Some comparisons are good because like we are glad that people even like bring up a name like Overwatch or some other game like to compare ourselves to, but it's like although it's really nice to hear it, it just comes out like it's hard to reply to it because like you can't even compare.
Yeah, but
Like
that's
technically, if you really think about it, we're just a bunch of nerds making a game compared to a whole industry.
but that's the thing. Like, this game really took everyone by surprise, and everyone, even though it has its bugs, it has its faults and flaws, because it's a fan game. But even though it actually feels like a AAA full-on fledged like demo of a game. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, when I say demo, when I say demo, I take it in the fact that if this was a AAA game, this would be the demo. You would have 4 maps, you would have like 3 classes, you would have like a limited amount of cast you could play, and then you would be thrown into it, right? And then they would open the floodgates like a month later for the real game. Like, this really feels like a beta of a AAA game.
Yeah. This is what they'd
Yeah.
be playing in studio for their like early prototyping.
Exactly. It's just insane that this is such a great game, and that there is literally no funding, no time to do anything about it, and not to even talk about the copyright restriction for the
Yeah.
Attack on Titan stuff. But I mean, yeah, I think that's the reason why they compare it to Overwatch and stuff like that, because it actually feels like a game that could have been developed in a AAA studio.
Yeah, that's why it's flattering, but it's also like the problem is that it sets the expectations a bit unrealistically.
Yeah, way higher than you can actually do.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
And the worst part is like we can't we can't even think about like living to those expectations. We just have to like deal with it and like say like try to make people like see that it's not. Although like thanks for the compliments, but it's really hard to live up to those expectations. So like I don't know, step on the brakes is just a little tiny bit.
Yeah. And your offices are literally home in the chair on Discord.
Yeah, I know.
Like, come on, man. Give him the praise for the game, and just fucking don't set the bar too high. I think that is where we are currently. Like, we should respect and accept all changes right now, because it just goes to show that the game is alive, that the
Tropic
devs are
playing
actually
out of
caring
his
for it.
mind.
All right, now that we're actually, I think we're slowly getting towards the end. I only have like 4 questions left, and they are like pretty simple to answer, I'd say. One of them maybe not, but the other 3, yeah. And I know that you were also on a time schedule, right, Roark?
Yeah, I have time to get through those questions.
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna merge these 2 questions because they kind of are similar. One of the question is like, are there any plans on making different outfits for the characters? So basically skins, like the black outfits during the Mali attack. And another question that says, do you think that they will ever consider making a Kenny skin or other characters in that matter? Go, I guess.
Okay. No and no.
No and no. Can you
That's all,
elaborate?
folks.
I will elaborate very briefly. The way the models work in the game for the characters is very limited. So there's not much we can do in terms of skins. I'm sure everyone's noticed that all the characters look essentially the same. They all wear the same outfit, and that's deliberate. It's much easier to work with. So to do like new skins, I don't really see how we would do that without remaking the characters first, which is obviously a lot of work. Specifically remaking them so that they could support skins, like so that the characters and the rigs could support interchangeable skins. So that's why that one's the way it is. It's not because we wouldn't want to, but there are technical limitations there. That's a lot of work, and I don't think Cube has time to do that, just straight up.
Yeah.
It's already, quite a bit for him just to, add a character like Irwin, just for time reasons.
Yeah.
When it comes to Kenny, it's the same answer. Like Kenny, you cannot put Kenny in a soldier uniform. It will be the most cursed thing ever. It will be terrible, and I will not allow it.
But you cannot also add him with his normal outfit, because it just kind of breaks the style of the characters, because they all have the exact same outfit, almost with the exact same structure and all that stuff. So it's really, although it is cool to have Kenny in the game, it just looks weird to have him being the only one with a different outfit.
Yeah, it's just not set up to work that way. That's really it, and you would have to do a lot of work to kind of lay the foundation for that, so that you could, because Kenny is basically wearing a skin, right?
Yeah.
He looks different than the other characters. You'd have to have that set up, and we just don't.
Okay.
That's why we never say, oh, maybe we'll get Kenny, right? Because
Kenny Smirk.
Yeah. Kenny Smirk, yeah. Okay, so with this said, does this also remove any options for other characters? Because I noticed as well as other people that Lana is on. She's a custom creation, right? But she's also on the menu with a lot of other very peculiar looking guys with different variations of hair color.
Various JoJo characters.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Does this also remove the possibility for other people and even community wanted skins into the game? Some people have added, it's not to sit here and stroke my own ego, but some people actually have asked for a Tropic skin. Some people have asked for a character from the main menu skin. They keep on asking for sword customization, new skins, new characters, something like that. Does this also remove all the options for this?
That's a bit different, because those are other people. I can only speak for the dev team.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What crazy people want to do with their free time is their decision. When it comes to the guys on the main screen, Kai just drew that because that's how he wanted to do it. It wasn't part of some hinting or anything.
Yeah, the idea of him the reason why he drew those characters is more that when I first started doing, for example, the loading screen, we did not. I don't remember if that was the reason, Roark. I don't know if you can correct me on that. I think the reason was we didn't really know if what characters would be in the game or not. So we also wanted the to feel like the players and not just the characters themselves. It's the players fighting like between the players. So like that's why they're all anonymous. They don't really have any face, like they don't have any, like for example on the loading screen they don't have any facial features. They don't have any. They have cloaks that they hide most of their body, so they look anonymous. They don't really look like any of the characters, like, or at least that wasn't the intention for them to look like any like relevant character. So it's more like a more of an anonymous thing, and like Kai kind of try to do that as well, and like just make like random characters that didn't really resemble the original characters from the show.
Yeah.
Also, original things aren't actually that popular, because it's an AOT game. So actual characters that people have like familiarity with or opinions about are just gonna perform better than brand new characters that they have no opinions about. I sent out that community survey and have gotten a lot of responses and a lot of interesting responses, but it's not surprising that Lana is the least liked character because
Yeah, there's no
people just
familiarity.
don't, and they don't
Yeah.
have a history with that character, right? So
It's also like
it's-
1 out of like every 5 games I'm in, everyone, some person is asking like, who the f is Lana?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So like in terms of the general population, those kinds of specific skins, they're not actually broadly popular.
No.
So
Okay.
it might not be the best
And
way
then
to
it would
go.
come back just for the question about like making customizable characters,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think we all know that's not viable at all to do.
Yeah, if we can't even make skins like
No way, yeah.
reliably, then obviously character customization is not on the table at all.
Yeah. Okay. Then that is kind of it. Funny meme question right before the final 2. I will merge together and then we can argue whether we have time for more. Titans win? Question mark? Because everyone wants to know when. We also know the answer, and I can answer for you. Titans will not happen because it takes too much time and energy, and it's not worth the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
here
very,
comes
a very talented answer.
Yeah, we've seen
Here
it so
comes-
many
here
You've
comes
read
the
the
show.
you've read the company handbook.
I have. I'm
Um,
ready for my appointment. Okay. So
No, I'll speak briefly on it,
very brief.
but it's the exact same theme.
Yeah.
Obviously, Titans are a huge thing, and regardless of whether anybody wants them, like me or Cube or any other developer, we can't. Like, we're limited so much by resources that are available to us. Secondly, I don't even know if adding them is a good thing because it has nothing to do with the focus of the game, like the vision of the game, which is centered on PvP, combat between players. And adding in a totally different thing like Titans, I don't see how you could do that without requiring dramatic changes to like the game mechanics. And now you're going to have a conflict between, do you balance things for the PvE or the PvP? And you kind of have a split in your direction. I don't think that's a wise decision. I think it's my view is that it's better to leave Titans to other games that are focusing on Titans. That's my feelings about it.
I think I don't
It's
wanna.
really hard to add it. It's really hard to like just change the focus because like it's like you would have to redo maps, redo mechanics. It's like we see the point. Like Titans are really cool, but like it's at this point, at this current time, it's like almost impossible to even even consider adding it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been clear. Just to clarify, we've been clear about this for literally years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what we could do to better stop people from having false hope. Like, it's unambiguous. We try so hard to make it clear. Do not wait for Titans. You will not be getting them. So, like, I hope people aren't still disappointed by this because we've
that's not the
really
idea.
committed to trying to make sure nobody gets the wrong idea about what this game is about.
Yeah.
So I hope I hope people aren't like shocked when they hear that there aren't any Titans coming.
Yeah.
At all.
I think I think we should.
Here comes a comment. Attack on Titan. is
Yeah,
the name.
Titan's Wear. I think we should put it away and stow it away until Roark Incorporated becomes a big AAA company and we can actually afford it and have time for it. So,
A big AAA company that makes fan games. Yeah.
exactly, the fan game. Alright.
The fan game sponsor.
You've basically become like whatever that site is called. I can't remember now. Whatever. So the last two questions that I wanted to merge into one. What made you guys want to start the development of Route, and will you ever develop your own game, like your own touch on your own game with your own touches and your own like themes with the same mechanics and movement inspired system from Route? Because we can all agree that the mechanics and the movement, even though the ping is a bit iffy sometimes, the movement and the mechanics are like so freaking sweet. Like, it's literally what got me into playing it. It's literally what gets everyone else into playing it. You feel fast, you attack fast, everything just feels smooth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that first part of the question is more to Roark, since he was literally the first person to like work on it. He worked on the build.
Yeah, it's a
very build.
It's a long time ago now.
Gotta feel old.
Originally, I started working on the game just to learn how to do programming. Like, that's all it was. And then it was fun. I started learning how to do animation and modeling and game design and all like the stuff relating to game development. That was great, and I was by myself, so it was really just like a personal educational thing. And then I released the game. People liked it. You know, it was reasonably popular for like a little game. Like, this is the old build, by the way. And then people started wanting to help out, and so I started getting some teammates, and that allowed us to do more. I believe Yuli joined first, and he made the characters, and that kind of allowed the art to take another step forward. And that was great. And then we got Cube, and he was able to do all the animations, which freed me up because I no longer had to do the animations, so I could focus on other stuff. But now it's like really different. The game's been around for so long that it's like the current motivations have nothing to do with that. Like, I'm not making this game to learn about game development. At this point, I'm a professional game developer. Humble brag, I guess. So like, I don't need to like use it in the same way. Like, back in the day, I was like, oh, it's a great resume piece. Now I do it almost exclusively for fun and to hang out with people like the other devs who at this point I've been friends with for years. So that's mostly what I get out of it now. What was the second part of the question?
That was if you ever were to develop your own game, so remove the IP, the Attack AOT IP with the same mechanics and movement.
Yeah, that's kind of like an obvious thing to think about, because so much effort's been put into this. Like, a lot of work has gone into fleshing out the mechanics for this game. It's not like I just coded the movement in and it worked. It took literally years. So you kind of have a desire to not like waste that effort. So trying to turn it into an original game makes a lot of sense. It's difficult though, because it's still a lot of work. Like, just to remove the IP, it's still a ton of work. And you also run the risk of like, without that IP, will people really still be that interested in it? Of course, some people will. People maybe who are really into movement shooters or something. But it is a big risk because the IP obviously draws most people in. All I can say is that we have discussed it. It's tricky.
Yeah.
I
More
don't
than
know
once.
I don't know that we have the time or the team necessarily. Like, we're a very small team, and at this point our time is very limited, like all of us. So it's tough to see how to make that transition. But it's definitely something that if we were to do another game, it's definitely like a contender to like try and take the mechanics from this and turn it into something original and expand on it, not be limited by the IP anymore. Definitely a thought that we've talked about it. Also, you can do original games that aren't related, but like that's kind of just a separate thing.
Yeah.
And there's also the point of like, although we already have most of the mechanics and all that stuff, it's like games take a long time to develop. They take an insane amount of effort and time, and even though we already have like a bunch of stuff ready, like the movement and like the attack, the mechanics and all that stuff, it still would take a long time and a lot of effort to do a new game, especially on the current situation that we are in. So it's like, it's kind of hard to say even too.
Yeah. Also, you're not just reskinning it. You're like fleshing it
Redesigning
out because like it's not a fan game anymore, right? You can't get away with a lot of the stuff you can get away with in a fan game.
Yeah.
Your maps have to get textured. The ping issues have to be stabilized. If your game is trying to be competitive, then you have to have ranking. You have to have some kind of ranking, some kind of matchmaking.
You need more
leaderboard setup.
content too.
You definitely need more content. It just changes what you can get away with, basically. So that makes it extra complicated.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of the times when I play this game, I forget it's an Attack on Titan game. Like I legitimately just
Yeah, funny enough.
yeah, I literally forget it and I just have fun as if it was like a $20 game I picked up randomly because I saw some guys play it and I heard about it and I saw some development on it and then I played because it's fucking fun, right? So like a lot of the time I rarely actually like, you know, link it to Attack on Titan. I know when I look at it and I take a second, I'm like, yeah, that it's a grapple, it's the bursting, it's like the ODM, it's the APG, all of that stuff. It's from the universe I fell in love with and I really wanted to be in, and now I actually have the possibility to be in it. But I actually forget it. I forget that it's that universe I'm centered in.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly about the mechanics, like the movement. It's not just taking advantage of the IP, really. Like, no one's playing it to stare at the character models. You know what I mean? Like, they're playing it to fly around and do stuff.
Yeah.
And those
Maybe if
mechanics
we
would be the same in another game, so it doesn't need the AOT association, I guess. But still, it is important for bringing people in.
Yeah, because it's as someone said in chat, people come for the IP and they stay for the game.
Yeah,
and
hopefully.
it's fun to see like that there are people that like actually enjoy that. They can have fun even though it's like they forget about AOT as a whole. It's like they don't really care about it much. They care more about the gameplay itself rather than like just being an AOT game.
Yeah. But it's also so well done. Like I feel so free when I play the game. Like you can literally when you talk about like Rocket League, Titanfall, all of these like, you know, 3D mobility or maneuverable games where you can actually like move around and do stuff, you still get to some kind of limit. Then you have like flight simulating games and like War Thunder and games like that, where it's like, yeah, you're moving fast, you're moving in the 3D space, but you're also still limited by turning and like mechanical parts and all of that stuff. But this game just feels like free. You're not handling any kind of machinery. You're not you don't necessarily need to touch the ground every 10 seconds because you need your booster jet to load up or some stupid shit like that. It actually feels so good with the mechanic of how it works and how you can fly around, you can grab onto stuff. The only thing that really stops you is like the stress, and I mean, come on, it's like so forgiving.
Balanced.
Yeah, it's balanced and so forgiving. Like,
Some people might disagree with that.
yeah, I'm not talking as in the competitive scene. I'm more talking as in like it's balanced in a way that you can fly around and have fun in a casual way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like it. At least my hope or my goal was that it's kind of original. Like, it's not the first movement focused game, like, obviously, but it doesn't, like, it's not trying to copy something else. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's some new battle royale game that's literally just trying to copy another thing that's already been done. And I realize it's funny to say that when it's a fan game that is literally copying a lot.
AOT.
But
Yeah.
in terms of the mechanics, it has novelty. Like, it's different,
Yeah.
and I like that about it. And I like that people like that, and they want to stick around and play it. That's really cool to me. It's another reason why, like, I'm not that big on, to go back to it, I'm sorry, on the Titans. Every other AOT game does it, like, to varying degrees, but the PvP is, at least as far as I can tell, pretty original within the IP. So I'm more into that. I'm more into, like, doing something novel.
Yeah, understandable. All right. That actually rounds out the questions I have prepared for you guys, and also basically like what I prepared for the entire stream. So it's more like up to you guys. You're basically free to go now. I have held you hostage. I have held you at gunpoint, asking all sorts of shitty ass questions from the community. Sorry guys, but yeah, it's actually just up to you guys. If you wanna go for a question or three from the Twitch chat, or you wanna stay.
I saw a question in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, go ahead. Is it the Roark
About-
skin thing? What?
No. about dev team applications opening up, which I can give a quick answer to. They're not open because I don't have time to bring people on board. That's why they were closed right before we released, because it was too late to bring someone on, and they haven't reopened because I just haven't had time to properly bring someone onto the team. Like, I don't believe in just like, oh, you're hired now, figure out how to do something useful. It actually takes a lot of energy and like time to get someone up to speed and like integrated into the team. And that's why team applications are not currently open, because I haven't had the time to put into that.
And it's really awful to just throw the person in and
Yeah, I'm
oh
not
yeah.
into that. And then one other thing I saw someone asked, I can't find it. It was like Gansu asked it or something.
Oh, if it was Gansu, then it's probably about his wall. He actually had a question as well, and I'm just gonna read it out loud. Where is it now? Let me find you, Gansu. So he asked, as we all know, the Gansu wall is a great and holy place and should be made so. That is why it's obviously already in the work to plan to raise the wall to allow everyone to gaze upon its splendor. I mean, make the Gansu wall so high that you can see it from every map. Confirmed, maybe.
It's being considered very seriously.
We're thinking about it as of now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, right now.
Yeah, right now.
I know it's a joke, but I actually like really do enjoy like the stupid stuff, like the Gansu wall and stuff. I like the game memes
It, it,
like that
it,
spring
it
up.
also brings life to the game, right? Like
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
down there, I literally hated being down there at the Gansu wall because there is literally nothing. But now, since it's like known as the Gansu wall, it just brings a smile to my face every time people are down there. Usually I would be like, bruh, I hate being down there. It's so low leveled and so open and I can't do anything. And now it's like, haha, Gansu.
Yeah, it makes something like actually interesting that is otherwise boring.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see this type of stuff that people come up with, because like it makes the game have a little bit more content without actually making anything. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's
Like
more
you-
live.
Uh-huh.
She said.
Yeah, it's all about time, right? Like if anything will eventually happen when you have players playing the game and they like experience stuff and do stuff. Like you see the Gansu wall, you also see the what is it? Like when people originally discovered that you can parry like because not everyone saw the tutorials, unfortunately. But when people noticed that you could parry sword throws and like bullet blocks, and people figuring out the mobility cracked up system where you can roof hop and all of these kind of things, like it just brings life to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. And I
And
don't
then I'll
think
crush it in an update.
yeah, exactly. And I don't think anyone should be oh damn. I don't think anyone should be afraid of actually like taking it on themselves, like I did this thing, look at me, I'm funny, because it's actually like what gives life to the game.
But I'm okay with taking some questions from the chat if people have them.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I'm not really in a rush to leave,
yeah,
but
then let's do that. Just say whenever you're off then, because then we can make something out of it.
yeah. But I am gonna step off for a second. I'll be back in like a minute or two.
Yeah.
Vip's here to
yeah,
cover me.
Vip, let's go. You're on the board right now while I
Alright.
try to find
I'm
a
on
server
the
to
I'm on the
join.
spoiler.
Yeah.
I'm on the spotlight.
Tropic playing out of his mind.
I'm just trying to find a game meanwhile to be something opened up here. So,
Tropic playing out of his mind.
these fucking channels that keeps following. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. So,
Tropic playing out of his mind.
anything you thought about, or any words you want to put on onto the current state of the game, or the current situation, or anything, like, feel free to do it now, because I literally have no clue what I want to ask you. Like it's so dumb of me, but as we talked about, it's very limited.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very limited.
I do not blame you at all. It's like most of the time, most of like a lot of people have like questions and even like stuff about like higher like some like questions that mostly Roark knows, or like maybe like some map related stuff that Moose knows, or even some characters. I mostly right now I don't really. There's really limited stuff besides the stuff that like I can answer in like in a client side point of view, right? Like not a developer point of view. It's a little bit hard, yeah.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I don't know. The current game, the current state of the game is it kind of stabilized with the community that we already have, of like people that like they just enjoy the game and like they just want to keep playing it, but it's not like it's not increasing, I guess, in a way. It's just like stabilized in a point where like we got a dedicated community that's they just like playing the game. They want to play the official tournaments. I personally find it really cool that people can find that much like this much fun into the game and invest that much time, like this much time into playing it. It's really gratificating, I think, for everyone here, like for all the devs, because like we were so focused on releasing the game like few months ago that we didn't thought about the stuff that could happen after it, right? Like
Yeah.
like we had no idea what could happen, so it was really cool to see that people are liking it this much, and there's like still people like really, I guess, excited and really want to participate in the community and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's really nice to see how many people actually want to step in and be like, we're supporting this right now, right here. like we wanna give you as much as we can, and if we receive just a little bit, then we'll we will like be happy for that because we're having
Also,
fun
someone
playing the game.
Yeah. Someone asked a question in the chat that I can answer that one. A
Back, by the way.
mod support. Yeah, okay. Mod support, and I was kind of thinking if you meant something else, but like if you mean like mod support in a way that like people can make mods to it, like I don't know, like something like for example Skyrim or like Fallout or like I don't know, like something like that where you can add mods and like modify the game and all that stuff. The tricky part about it is like technically people can mod it, but we're not giving support to it because giving support to something like that, it's to like make people be able to do their own stuff with the game. It's way harder, and it's like not something that we can do, and neither something that we should focus on currently. Because technically, although it adds content, like technically it adds free content to the game, it's not something that I think we can do currently.
Yeah, I think that if we were gonna do something like that, we would just let those people who are serious about it work directly on the project. You know, like just why not just join the dev team if you're like serious about adding all this content or something.
If a guy seriously comes in and thinks about like he wants to make a mod support or like a mod that adds Titans to the game, like why don't you just come to us and like, yo, I want to go in this team and can I try and join and make Titans? I don't think we would probably refuse that.
Yeah. Well, they'd have to like. There's a quality standard to meet, obviously, right? But
yeah.
But that's about it. I've just scrolled up. I don't know if you've answered any questions, but I see like a bunch of like really like simple one-liner.
Yeah, you can go ahead. We haven't answered too many. We just talked about like the community and stuff like that.
Okay. Pixis skin, that's possible. It's not in the works, but I think if there was another character added after Irwin, we'd probably do a vote on it, like a community vote.
Yeah, and
this would be more fun.
You would most likely listen to me and add Hitch. Like...
Well, I think we'd take a bunch of nominations and then do a vote on it and see who wins. I feel like that's a more fun way to do it.
Yeah.
When is the next update? I don't know. Whenever it's done. We don't have a regular working schedule, so predictions are useless. PS client side when? Never.
It's a miss. It's a fucking miss.
Yeah.
TS, the way the rocket moves, you'll things that are client side are best when they're for short range things, or very fast things like hit scan things. Something like a spear that travels far and over time, you don't want to have a lot of variation between what the shooter sees and what the victim sees. You know what I mean? Like by running that on the server, it looks both the shooter and the victim, they share all the ping issues, and it looks slightly better for both of them.
And it kind of penalizes someone that has a higher like.
Yeah. You don't want to reward someone who has like 500 ping with spears. I feel like that would really suck to be on the other end of that.
I'm actually, I know it's your interview, guys, but I'm actually gonna jump in and take this one real quick from Greyflex, and then you can continue if you want. He's asking, do you think it would be a good idea to create a series of videos or Twitch about strats or the competitive scene, the meta, basics of competitive play, and reviews of tournament matches? Yeah, Greyflex. I actually think it's such a great idea to incorporate the casual player base into the competitive plays as much as possible, and maybe do like baby steps from noob to pro player that people can follow, so we can actually get more players into the competitive play. Because as we discussed earlier, the way for this game right now currently is through the competitive play. The more competitive players and the bigger the professional scene is right now, the better the game actually stands on its own feet. That's all I wanted to say.
And I'll just add that that's up to the community to do. Like that's content the community creates. I think as far as like we're concerned, we can help to like feature stuff right? But that kind of stuff I feel like is up to people like, you know, like you, Tropic, or whoever else is making content to grow that kind of content base.
To answer,
There's so many questions here.
there's another question about like we talked about earlier in the stream. I think it's related to your question, Ixie. About like the matchmaking, modding and matchmaking. The problem with like the problem with matchmaking. It's not something you can just add like a mod into the game. It's something that you need external things as well, like servers and databases to like store all the matchmaking data. It's like not like, sure, you can try, you can go ahead, and like technically there's literally nothing we can do from stopping someone to like try and mod it, but it's not something you could do in a mod. I see that you can't just add matchmaking into a mod.
Yeah, I think that
even if we gave support to it.
If someone was super serious about that and willing to spend like months doing this, they should just be joining the dev team, in my opinion, for any kind of major feature work like that. There's so many like little questions. I've barely been able to scroll down.
Yeah, but it's like take whatever you want, because everyone.
Why can't you block gunshots when you're close? For balance reasons. Sneak peek today? No. This is your sneak peek. I guess. Is there a chance that you'll share the community survey results? Yes, at some point. I will share them. I'm not sure how to share them. Maybe on a stream or something. I definitely do want to share them. Some of them are pretty interesting.
It's good to be able to discuss some of them a little bit too, because there's a lot of like interesting answers in that.
And some of them are a bit surprising too. So I think it'd be fun. Oh my god.
2 hours.
So many duplicate questions. It's like I'm scrolling through and it's like the same stuff being asked again. We kind of need better spectator, something like free cam, montages, being able to make montages and stuff. Yes, I have added more spectator features, mostly to support the casters and the commentators, but those features will obviously be available to players, which might help them with making montages and edits and whatever else. But yeah, better spectator stuff is something that gets worked on.
Yeah, we talked about it as well. Like when I was making cinematic shots, I tried to make it with players actually killing each other, and we had the skull and the kill feed still being a thing, and also the score in the top, and yeah, there was some stuff that might be able to work out.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, and I could add it so that you can hide those things and just make it easier to make content. That's like what I mean by supporting tournament stuff, but also like content creators in general, because they also obviously help the game a lot.
Yeah, I also before you go to the next question, I actually have some very very wholesome souls that asks you, Roark, to take a look at your Ko-fi. Because it should have been going up a significant amount the last 2 hours, 3 hours, I think.
Oh damn, that's okay. Just keep scrolling.
Yeah, that's very generous.
Thanks everyone.
Yes, thank you everyone.
I'm unsure of how much, but there has been
honestly, anytime because like we don't really offer donator rewards, right? Yeah. So anytime donations are made, it's quite meaningful, because like it's a genuine donation. Especially like when people donate, I never know what to really say, because when people donate more than what I think the game's worth, obviously that's special as well. It's like clearly important to them.
But
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of awkward.
I know that this comes from like a lot of dedicated players and a lot of fans to this game and from the community, and it's a way for us to say thanks. And I also I was a bit afraid of how much it would blow up today with all of the stuff, and I have also decided that we're not going to say half. We're going to say all of the profit I made today from the stream will go directly to funding the game, or to Ko-Fi, because that is where they take no cut. So
You have a salute emoji.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Part of me feels bad for taking your stream.
Yeah.
It's like it's like you gotta pay me to be here.
Yeah.
Nah,
Which is
I
not
mean,
true.
I mean,
we can
I
negotiate after the stream.
But I
that's-
do
that's
appreciate
fine.
I
it. Obviously.
literally,
Yeah, we-
I literally paid like what, nothing for the game, and I have already played it more than like any other game that I've. Maybe not League of
Yeah.
Legends, because I'm a low life, but you know. But yeah, it's literally like up there. I think I still am the guy with the most hours in the game, and I feel like giving back is like the only, like, this is my way of giving back. Like, this is literally how I do it.
Yeah,
Technically,
I
the
appreciate
person with
it.
the most hours are the devs.
Yeah, you
Just
guys are, but
yeah,
yeah, okay,
technically,
casual
yeah.
players. Oh yeah, I forgot you've been working for 4 years.
Not to throw shade or anything.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's actually true. It caught me off guard, that shit.
Oh yeah, no,
But
no,
I was not
joking.
able to compete with people about 2 weeks after release.
Yeah.
That was when players like blew past me in terms of skill.
Like, I can
And I had
tell
been
you.
playing for years, and I literally designed the mechanics. And I just, when I joined some of the servers where like a lot of the better players hang out, I'm lucky to get a kill.
Oh.
Like, it's really embarrassing.
I can tell you that the day the game got released, I was like, I got up, I saw the video on YouTube, I was like, yeah, damn, this is now. I waited so long for this, and the going week, like the week after, I had like, what is 24 times 7s? Like, that is pretty close to how many hours I had on the game. Like, I played it non-stop. I got so sleep deprived because I literally just sat up and played it all day. It was insane.
Okay,
man.
you might want to put a disclaimer. Do not
Yeah,
do not get like no sleep
Yeah.
because of the game.
it's not
Go
not
to-
healthy. Don't do that,
Get
guys.
sleep, go to class.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very important. Oh, I had vacation, so that is why I didn't go
Yeah.
anywhere. But yeah, like,
That's true. It's been summer vacation, so
yeah.
people have been able to really
But
go
people
hard, I guess.
people have to remember to take care of their mental and their physical health, because if you're in great shape both physically and mentally, you will also perform better in game. Boom.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself to be a better player, not
Exactly.
just so that you like don't have a miserable life. Yeah.
Oh. So yeah.
Also, to answer, I think someone was asking about like technically buffs, buffs and nerfs. Technically, we already showed it on sneak peeks, like quite literally.
Yeah.
Like,
Although for those, I don't think of them as buffs and nerfs. I think of them as
Yeah.
expansions. Like
Uh-huh.
I don't know if embedding will be useful. Like, I really don't know. That's up to like competitive players to figure out. I just want there to be more ability to be a bit creative.
Especially considering how like the Thunder Spirits kind of need a little bit more of like a
Yeah, they're just lacking a bit of. They're lacking depth. And if people figure out cool ways to use that, that's awesome. I hope it's not like busted. Maybe it is. I'll try to get like people who know what they're doing to be testers. But
if anything, we just blame it on the testing team.
well, because like I can't really test it because I don't know how to
Yeah.
properly play at this point.
It's an entire different game from testing from the actual like game. Like, for example, a lot of the features we had to like the post-patch nerfs and all that stuff, because like the game evolved after the release. It's to such a different game that like it's kind of hard to say like that we even played it in a way. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
we
so
played
much
something
different.
else.
Yeah.
It's kind of. Someone's asked about backpedaling, but I'm not sure what he means with that. K dot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does he mean like strafing backwards, like
Yeah, I was thinking the same
fixed
thing.
camera ground movement?
Isn't that the moonwalking thing? I'm not sure if that's what they mean. Like the moonwalking that like someone posted on Game Media one day.
Oh yeah, I noticed that
Not
actually.
sure.
Because if
Yeah,
that's the
I'm not sure.
case, the reason we don't have that, I'm sorry that this is such a theme. It's too much work.
Yeah.
It's too much
Such a-
work to add in all the mechanics and the animations and stuff to support strafing, which is what you would need. Basically, like the way I think people are probably imagining it, the way it would be is you press F or whatever to ready your attack, and then the movement would change to like kind of like a strafing where you'd be facing where you're looking all the time. That requires so many additional animations. That it's not feasible for us currently.
Yeah.
And it would only really benefit the APG. So like it's kind of like is it worth all that effort?
I don't see it being worth that much. Not maybe not maybe worth, but not really important at the current time.
But by the way, I don't know if it came off, but everybody who's like been donating during the stream, obviously thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. It's very encouraging to see how important the game is to people. I think as a developer, that's like the best thing that can happen for you when people like actually genuinely enjoy what you've done. So just thank you for your support.
Yeah, I think these people who actually want to support the game also show their gratitude in this way. Like they show it by being active and like giving you where you giving what little we can give, because I know a lot of people also wanna kind of go and help developing, and they're like, damn bro, I wish I knew more about Unity so I could make capes, because capes are capes and they could be fucking capes, right? So like we talked about capes a lot in the beginning. That was like all we ever wanted, and now we're sitting here talking about new maps and patches and updates, and like it's insane how much it's gone.
I remember when I think like 4 years ago. I remember we gave it an attempt to do the cloaks. I think it was literally the moment that I joined. It was the moment that like work was scrapping the idea of like cloaks because it wasn't working out.
Yeah. Someone said, actually, I don't know if you use that, but someone mentioned that they have a really good cloth simulation in Unity. Is that the one you used?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just teared it apart. Actually, let's get it on the fucking surface now. Tell us about cloaks, because we wanna hear it now.
It's not much. Like, yes, Unity has a cloth sim. I did use it. The issue with it is that the character movement is very erratic. It's very like unpredictable. There's a lot of like forces on the player. Something like changing direction immediately, like that is not good for the cloth sim, which for anybody who's technical, I think it's a like a verlet integration thing or whatever, doesn't do well with extremely high accelerations. So there's lots of problems with it. I actually like put a cloak on a player and tried it, and it kind of worked, but mostly didn't. And
they looked really kind of weird most
really
of the time.
Janky. So I think if you're gonna add cloaks, they probably need to be kind of partially
playing out of
simulated, like with a cloth sim, but also partially animated.
Tropic playing
so that
out of his mind.
You don't get like these crazy results from the character like changing direction immediately and flipping and all sorts of stuff like that.
Someone said, I don't know how it really works, but someone said that what if you use dynamic bones instead of cloth physics? Better for performance and less buggy. You could only make a few parts of the cape actually moving.
Yeah,
that's kind of like going away from the the sim, and you're kind of doing baked
Oh, yeah, so-
animations. He says dynamic bones, but I think the thing is that when I was playing around with it, it was really like, okay, if this is easy to add, I will add it. If it's going to take a ton of my time, I'm not going to. I'm going to move on to other things. I think when I tested that, I didn't even have APG in the game yet, and obviously
it was
that's more important to work on.
back.
So I feel bad about this theme of like, here's
Yeah.
a thing. Oh, here's why.
Yeah.
You know, we're limited
We don't have
for
time,
XYZ
yeah.
reason.
Yeah, but that's just how it is. I mean,
It really sucks to give that because like there's a lot of like good ideas, especially like for example cloaks. So they, like I think we can all agree that cloaks look really cool. They are really cool, and it's just something that you could add. But it's just really awful to always give this excuse, like this pattern of like, oh, we don't have the time to do it. It's not that we don't want to. It's really because we do not have the time to do it, like
Yeah.
at all.
It's resource management.
yeah. I think everyone can agree that they'd love to see capes, but it also, yeah, it also makes it a bit like whatever if it doesn't work, right? So we'd rather have
Yeah.
it work and actually, and it's not that important because it's like, yeah, it's if you have limited time. I think people would rather have you fix the APG. Not gonna lie.
That's what I mean. There's always more important stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, if is that's I think that actually seems to be it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't
Oh.
see any.
There's a yeah, I was gonna say the code what language.
Yeah, I mean yeah. People have already answered it. C sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Oh, someone has one more question. I think we can. Let's do this as a last question, and then I'll give you two off. I'll let you run off and do what work you need.
that
Yeah.
gun button in my head is starting.
Yeah, I don't know about VIP. I mean, I would prefer to leave on a more like optimistic note rather than just like
Yeah.
doing like 18 shutdowns of like things people are asking about, like cloaks and stuff. But
yeah, but I mean this is how it is. There's another shutdown you can do. Sneak peek today, Vernon asks.
yeah, there's no sneak peek today.
Yeah, so another shutdown.
I'm too busy.
Yeah, another shutdown. Yeah.
I think there might be some stuff that can be sneak peek. The problem with sneak peeks is that they're like in the general server, and like there are some things that I think some people would be really excited about, but then most people would be like, who cares about this? Like
Yeah.
this doesn't matter. Sneak peeks need to kind of be like visually interesting stuff.
Are you guys
So
planning?
it can be hard to find them.
Characters and like some good mechanic, like a gif of a new mechanic or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sneak talk something towards the competitive. I don't understand. Are you guys planning to balance using smoke cooldowns like APG getting longer or something like that?
Smoke cooldowns?
I don't think
Smoke
smokes are a problem. Not gonna
Oh.
lie.
Oh, you like is he talking about like smoke cooldowns being different from like each class? For example, like APG having a bigger cooldown. Is that what it means?
Like the flares?
I don't
Yeah.
think the flares is that much of a problem. I think they're a
No.
core mechanic to the competitive scene, but that should just be tweaked in the game options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the change that's being made to like cooldowns is the reloading. Those timings are changed,
Yeah.
like for each class. But the flares, no. They're kind of the flares are a general thing. They're not like specific to a class.
Yeah.
I also saw Dorito talked about having player stats, like different player stats for different characters. Like Levi's
God,
smaller
yeah.
hitbox and stuff like that.
No.
I think that's a bad idea.
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah, because everyone would be playing the same character most likely, and it's just like, yeah, this guy's OP, play this guy.
Yeah, there's always the best one,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And
And the
that-
worst part
yeah.
about playing a game and having these type of characters, if the game is not evolved around this like idea of like each character having like a different ability, and they're just like literally different. Like this game isn't supported to that kind of idea. So like, they need to be only skins and that's it. They can't be different from each other.
Yeah, I think people probably already play like Levi or Annie because they think the hitbox is smaller. Like
Yeah.
I imagine that people
I
probably
like to believe that.
because like Bertolt is not popular as a character, and I feel like a bit of that might be that people think him being bigger is a disadvantage.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
it's-
curious
yeah.
if that's what people think. But
It's really not. I just think that people don't like. I'm gonna be
obviously
honest
they
here.
the majority, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest here. Everyone hates Reiner player model or character model. It looks horrible in some weird way.
I'm going by the survey results. So
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Going off,
but-
I'm going off data here, and I can tell you Reiner's not the least favorite.
Is he
Yeah.
not? What? Who is
No.
who is the least?
He
is it
is
Lana?
not.
I don't know how much I should do about the community survey thing if I'm going to make
Yeah,
a big
for
deal
now,
about
yeah.
revealing
There was
it.
actually a question that I didn't bring in, but I can now use it actually. They talked about if the surveys we send in will ever be released or like publicly.
Yeah.
Uh,
I want to go over the information. Been very busy lately.
And we're
So,
trying to see a good time and place to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll go over it in like Discord or something, and I'll just stream it. I don't know how best to like show the information.
Yeah.
I don't want to like do a Twitch stream for it and have it be like only take like 30 minutes or something.
Or most of the people won't even watch it. Like,
Yeah.
because technically it takes a long time to do it.
yeah, exactly. Someone asked any performance fixes and stability fixes to this update.
I think so. I think I have fixed the caves.
Oh yeah, the caves. Oh my god.
I don't know because I never had an issue with them, so I can't test
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, but
But
that's
I
the
I think
thing.
there was
You
only
probably
one
have-
person.
But you
Sorry.
probably have like a supercomputer, right, for all the data
No,
mesh and all of that shit.
I don't. I don't.
But what was
No.
the problem?
I have a good computer though. I
Wasn't
have a
it
good
like
computer, though.
it was because like the reflection was fucking up, right? And it was trying to render a whole skybox or some weird.
No,
like,
I think it's like it's like a problem with AMD cards. Like there's some shader that isn't playing nicely.
oh,
We had a tester. I think it was it Calf or was it Doki? I don't remember. That they were the first ones to have the problem, and it was really hard to like. It's really hard to fix something it's like you're literally like shooting a bullet into the dark, right? You don't know, you don't have the problem yourself. So like, how do you fix something that is not your like you can't really see it, you can't really test it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I think we had like one person having it, and then Roark did a fix, and then it fixed. But the problem is like it just came back now, and like it's just
This
kinda
is a
hard to,
different
like,
issue.
Yeah.
but there's something about the way the fog works in the caves, and it's like a shader thing, and the caves is the only map that does that. So I feel like that's what it was. I've removed it, like the issue. So I hope it's better now. We'll see. I don't. Maybe there would be some testers who used to have problems on the caves, and they can compare. But we'll see. Other optimizations, I honestly don't really remember. I don't know if there are major optimizations. I don't think so.
All right.
Amount of cheating in the game compared to what you expected. To be fair, I think I personally expected way more. I expected kind of the lobby to a few months to like get into a point, like for example like Counter-Strike, where you just see a guy bunny hopping all over the place, spinning like a Beyblade and hitting everyone with APG. But yeah,
cheating's inevitable. Like it's a
Mhm.
fact of life with games. even when games try and throw billions of dollars at this problem, they fail. So it's a thing you have to live with. So I'm not surprised by cheating. I'm not particularly worried about it because most of the times people who are cheating can get caught. And so the problem can eventually be dealt with, but
Yep.
I don't know. So I'm not stressing about it because it's a problem you can't fix. Like, there's not really much of a point in freaking out about it too much. You just do the best you can to try and manage the problem.
And I hope that hosts actually ban cheaters instead of like
yeah,
letting...
stuff like that. The community
Yeah.
kind of like polices itself a bit. People don't want to risk their reputation. Those kinds of social pressures. But it's a tough problem. A while ago, someone asked. I think they asked if I'm a professional developer or something. I am. I work at a game studio, currently part-time. But yes, I am a professional game developer at this point. I wasn't when I started working on the game. And then
Headless
someone asks-
servers.
someone asked about the headless servers. Yeah, there's not much news. It's like it's obvious what needs to be done for them. The game has to be able to run without the host being like an actual player in the game. That's what has to be changed. So like anything that assumes that the host is in the game has to be fixed, which can be a lot of work and probably need a lot of like polishing time, like to fix issues. So like I have no idea how long it would take. Currently, it's not being worked on though. That's just like a potential thing that could be done. How have I found professional game development? Is it different to what you expected?
I can say that for myself that it is really different.
You do professional game development, Vib?
No, but I have seen the amount of work you guys have put in, and the amount of like different stuff, like how it is, like how different it is from expectations of how it works.
It's kind of, I didn't have many expectations, so I don't know if I'm like that shocked by anything. But it is interesting. There's a lot more people typically involved. Obviously, in my professional career, I'm a junior. I'm not. It's the opposite of this project, where I manage the project and like art and other things. So that's very different. But the process is generally the same. Like, you're spending a lot of time thinking about design, like what's fun, what are the goals of the game, like are you living up to the vision of the game, constantly talking about what is a better way to do something versus a worse way to do something. In that way, it is kind of what I expected, and what it's very similar to how it works on this project, to be honest. Just that this is obviously at a way smaller scale, like as much smaller as it could possibly get. I enjoy it though, to be clear. Like, I like it. The reason I do it is because I like game development. So
crunch time.
I have to deal with crunch. Not at my company.
Yeah.
My company's, the company I work at, is fantastic. They basically do everything they can to make things like comfortable and enjoyable for the employees. Like, obviously I really appreciate that. I know other studios have a lot of issues with that, so I just consider myself fortunate to work for this company instead of one of those ones. A lot of crunch though is like, game development's weird where it comes in bursts. Like, you will have periods where there's not really much going on, or you're waiting on something, and then there will be periods where there's suddenly a lot to get done. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like an ebb and flow to like how much work you're kind of doing at any one moment. It's really not like a steady flow of work. At least not for a lot of the particular jobs that I've seen.
It kind of works at like most works too, like most jobs. Like I'm not like working in game development, but like there's always that period of like panic where you have a lot of stuff to do and you have to do it at the end of the week, and then there's like that peaceful week where like there's almost like not that much compared to like
Yeah,
the other week.
exactly.
Yeah, it's something that always happens. Like I think at pretty much any work.
Yeah, and it's because it's like you're iterating on stuff. It's not like you just like go into a factory and you make the same thing every day, so it's a very predictable schedule. Things are constantly changing, which changes your workload very, very suddenly. So it's very dynamic in that sense. I guess I'll just finish off with some of these questions. Do you have any advice for people considering going into game development? Very simply, I think you should first think about what it is, like what part of game development you're interested in. There's a lot of different jobs that go into game development, like programmers, artists, sound designers, game designers. And when it comes to game development, there's even like marketing people, business people, like those are huge elements of it too. So figure out what you're actually interested in, and then I like with anything else, just pursue that. Try and have fun with it if you can, and gain experience while you're doing so. And then once you've kind of figured out that you like it, and also you've started to kind of get comfortable with the workflow, then I think you can start looking into either making your own projects, helping out on other projects, starting to apply to places, maybe looking into boot camps or whatever works for you. I think everyone's going to be a bit different on that. I realize that's a pretty vague answer, but it's a vague thing.
Yeah, it's kind of different because like it's really unique to each person. It really depends on what you want to do and like what you can currently do and all that stuff. It's all about like building that portfolio and like building that those like the skills to be able to like go to like companies and finding the companies that you can work on.
Mm-hmm. Building a portfolio is like super important when you're just starting. I think that's true for like any creative kind of thing. Where it's kind of like people don't want to just take your word for it that you're a great programmer, you know? They kind of want to see that you actually care and that you've made things. It's similar to artists.
So, yeah, I guess in this game dev kind of thing, portfolio matters a lot compared to other stuff as well.
Yeah. Someone mentioned working on other software. Like, I can't speak for other kinds of software development. I just know that it's different, like web development or writing other kinds of software. And they're right. The pay is generally quite a bit better. And I don't know if it would be less stressful, but it's probably equally or less stressful for most of it, depending on how important it is. That's why I think when you're doing something like game dev, you really do have to enjoy it. Like you have to like doing it. I don't think people should do it just for a paycheck.
Yeah,
I think
it becomes a really like depending, especially I guess that goes for every job. But like if you don't like it, it becomes really stressful, and you would just like hate every single second that comes by it. And it's like you're just wasting time if you're like actually at that point. Yeah,
it's hard to do creative work when you're really not like emotionally invested in it. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I assume it's true for most creative work, but in my experience, it's just really hard to do work when you like really don't believe in what you're working on, and you're expected to come up with like creative ideas, but your brain's just like not interested. I mean, that's not a unique problem. That's true for like most things, obviously, but yeah, enjoying game dev definitely helps, I think.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're about to hit
Yeah.
the very last question. People are also slowly but steadily dwindling away. I think
Mhm.
I think we can call this this a success. Like people got good answers to their good, some of them not as good questions, but
Yeah, we hope we were good.
Tropic
Good
There's
answers.
playing
there's so
out of
much
his mind.
that could be talked about. You know what I mean? So there's other questions that could be asked. Things could
Tropic
have more
playing
details
out of his
talked
mind.
about them. So
Mhm.
there's probably a lot of unanswered questions.
yeah.
We don't want to seem like we ignored it. It's just that like there's a lot of
Tropic
questions to answer.
playing out of
Yeah.
his
Like
mind.
some of them
Maybe
are really similar.
maybe something like this could be done again later. Trying to convince
Tropic
Moose to
playing
come on would be
out of his
cool as
mind.
well.
Yeah,
I can
that,
think
that,
of.
that could be really cool because he has some great ideas he could do.
How do you pronounce like this
Tropic playing out
RSXRI
of his mind.
name
Uh,
in the chat?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I want to
Yeah.
say it. I can't read it.
I can't remember
RX,
it.
oh yeah, RX Rai. So,
Yeah, I can't
That's right.
remember it. He
Yes.
said it to me at one point and it was like reaction. I can't remember it, man. He said it
Reax
to me.
Rai.
Yeah, he said it to me at some point where it's like, yeah.
Rixie.
I was
Yeah,
actually
Rix-
thinking if
yeah.
it was Rich.
Risker.
Oh, it's Maximus. Yeah, it's Maximus.
Oh, Maximus. Okay, yeah. Okay, Maximus.
They say Roark and we be friends. Sure.
So, but yeah.
Just made someone day.
Exactly. If you don't have anything else to add, I can let you go and finally let go of my trigger on the gun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's starting to like be starting to be a little bit uncomfortable. I was
Yeah,
just saying.
exactly. I also I've had an itch on my on my index finger the last like
Yeah, I felt
30
that.
minutes.
I definitely felt that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been 3 hours. I feel like
Yeah, I
that's
think
Yeah,
it's
that,
time
that's
to
that's
stop.
that's full feature podcast length.
I literally said like it's literally been 1 hour ago where I said I'm about to hit up my last question and we had another
Yeah.
hour of going. Yeah.
To be fair, most of the time that happens on Office whenever we're like
Yeah.
we used to do stuff. We're like, okay, let's just test this one thing, or like, well, okay, let's just talk about this one thing, and then we just go for like 2 hours.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. I also try to get the questions out. I mean, proper fast, so we could get like keep in within the 2 hour time limit because normally I only stream for 2 hours because otherwise I won't have time for anything else in my life and it would literally be like streaming all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, understandable.
And you also, I wouldn't say you grow tired, but at some point you get exhausted. You get mentally exhausted of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a little bit hard.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it. If you don't have anything else to add to anything.
Nope. Just that I actually like doing this. I think this is fun. I wouldn't mind doing it again.
Yeah, I'll gather
me neither.
like a 100 question for next time.
Yeah.
More
so
for VIP as well.
Hopefully we have more questions to answer too. It's just like not the same questions over and over because
Yeah.
we don't want like people to keep
or
like hearing some
at
things
least
over
be
and over.
clear about like questions that can actually get more
Mhm.
depth to them rather than just like no.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest.
Because it
some
was
of
really hard
the-
to just reply to some questions with like, oh no, we can't add it because we don't have time. It's just not
Yeah,
good.
some of the questions I knew the answer to, so I added a bit of more depth to them instead of just asking them straight off because I knew that like, some of it would grow right. Like, can you fix this? Yeah, we can, and that would be it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, then I would just say like thank you Roark and thank you VIP for coming and for being my hostages during this small interview, if you want to call it that.
Thank you for
We
having
might
me
want to
here.
check your PayPal after.
And also like I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I had a great time sitting here talking to you guys.
Tropic playing
Like-
It was
out
yeah,
of
it was
his
fun.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it.
I felt like
could
it
definitely
was.
do it again.
Yeah, I could see us do it again at some point. Like after the patch, when people have more questions
Oh,
about
yeah.
why the fuck
There'll be
you
a lot
fucked
to
up
talk about.
Yeah.
the swords or the
Oh,
thunder
How
yeah.
spears.
dare you change the Thunder Spears?
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
It's gonna be fun. But
Yeah.
but anywho, thanks to everyone who came to watch and supported us. Thank you for everyone who has supported the game and the community. Thank you for everyone to turn up and for playing the game. Like generally anyone who has anything to do with the game in any sort of way. And a special thanks to the people doing the great fund on the Ko-fi. I think I saw a sneak peek of like it was raised with like 200 donations or some stupid amount of like that, and
Single one.
yeah, it's insane, man. And just generally like thank you everyone, like thank you for supporting the project, and thank you Roark for making it, and thank you VIP for like being a part of the creation of something great.
Sure, yeah.
And as said, like I will count up because Twitch and revenue from my side works a bit different because I live in Denmark and we have a high tax. So I will make sure that that all of the profit for today goes directly to the program, and I will post a screenshot as soon as I've done it. It will maybe take like a week because I need some taxation stuff to be
Yeah,
done.
don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
But,
don't worry too much about it. It's fine.
But yeah, I think this was a success, and I think we can end happily on this note.
All right.
Like,
Well,
yep.
I will
All right.
talk to you here another time.
Yeah, no problem.
See you guys
No problem.
Bye bye.
See you,
All right,
man.
See you guys.
All right, we got through all of the things we wanted to get through. We got through questions, we got through answers, we got through all of it, and people are slowly moving out of the room. I better remove this so we won't get any weird kind of stuff going. Thank you very much, so much for coming. Thank you so much for supporting all of it. It has been a blast of a time tonight. I only expected 2 hours. We've hit the 3 hours mark. It was so amazing. I hope you all enjoyed it. I will have this VOD uploaded on the Twitch side. I will make the bestest of effort to download it and put it on the YouTube. The whole 3 hours. It's gonna take some time, but I'm gonna try to do my best and keep you guys happy. And until next time, see you all. Have a great night, have a great evening, have a good morning if you just woke up. Peace, everybody. Also, remember to check in on the official tournament starting as of tomorrow, where 139 will be playing. Peace.